Owned and managed for over 35 years. Your trusted local experts for fine jewelry and precious metals. Shop LeGrand Gold and Silver's full line of quality jewelry, gifts, and coins, and find the perfect gift that will be cherished for a lifetime.
At MJ Goss Motors, we respect the vehicle purchasing process. We have since 1922, and we're still going strong. At Goss Motors, we won't drag your credit through the mud. We won't harass you with phone calls, texts, or emails. We respect you. We contact you upon your request. If that request happens to be a test drive without a sales consultant, done. The minute you walk on the lot, we'll treat you like a boss, because that's what you are at Goss Motors, the boss. That's a promise. We'll make sure your experience is the most comfortable vehicle purchasing experience you've ever had.
Hey folks, Dave Ramsey here. Listen to the Dave Ramsey Show on your local news talk station, KLBM and KBKR, 1450 and 1490 AM.
The Dave Ramsey Show on Super Talk Radio is brought to you by Catherine Bailey of Edward Jones in Baker City. Your retirement deserves the attention of a personalized financial strategy backed by the advice, tools, and resources of Edward Jones. Contact Catherine Bailey at Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
Attention, Rip City. The Portland Trail Blazers are once again contending for a playoff spot in the Western Conference. Follow your favorite team every game on Super Talk Radio, 1450 AM in LeGrand and 1490 in Baker City. Stop missing the action and come pick up a free Blazers pocket schedule at Pacific Empire Radio in LeGrand on Cove Avenue. Trailblazers basketball on Super Talk Radio is brought to you in part by Kurt's RV Service and Repair, Rockin' Sons Tire and Auto, and Cricket Wireless.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care. I ever get back, so let's root for the home team. They don't win, it's a shame. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
The Johnny Ballgame.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to a fabulous Tuesday, late March Tuesday, Sweet 16 week Tuesday edition of what I hope is your favorite sports talk radio program, the Johnny Ballgame Show, brought to you by Benchwarmers Pub and Grill. Appreciate everybody with us on Super Talk Radio. That's KLBM, Union County, KBKR, Baker County. You can stream the program a couple of ways. One, on my website, JohnnyBallGameShow.com. And you can watch the program live. We got cameras and everything here in this studio on our YouTube channel. Simply find YouTube, type in Johnny Ballgame Show, look for the live broadcast or any other broadcast we've had. We keep them all archived there, and you can watch the Ballgame Show. If you miss a day here or there, you can come back. If you're bored, trying to kill time, go to your app on your smartphone, and you can watch any episode of the Ballgame Show that you indeed want to watch. Appreciate everybody, again, for hanging out. Be a part of this thing. I want you to call me. I want you to send text messages and emails throughout today's 3-hour tour tomorrow. We will turn mics off at 5 p.m. and get you to the house that MJ built, the United Center, Chicago Bulls hosting your Portland Trailblazers, 5 p.m. right here on Super Talk. Also Friday, Blazers at the Atlanta Hawks, going to turn the mic off at 4:30 on your Friday this week, too. So, when the Blazers go to these other time zones, Ballgame Show gets hit, but nothing can compare to what the Blazers are going through today and what the state of Oregon and Rip City fans everywhere saw or heard or dealt with last night, read about today, talked with their friends in regards to what's next here and there, yada, yada, yada. This is a day of essentially like sports version of mourning today for Portland Trailblazer fans in the Rip City community, no question. A tough one last night. Star center Yusuf Nurkic having his best year he's had, playing at an all-star caliber level there, just 24 years old, still obviously his entire career ahead of him. Suffered 2 compound leg breaks last night on a play where, jumping up in the air, falling on a member of the Brooklyn Nets, went down. It was honestly, as gruesome of an injury that you will see in sports. Folks, go back to Monday Night Football in 1985 with Joe Theismann. Folks, go Monday Night Football 1990, 93, Napoleon McCallum. Paul George at the Thomas and Mack Center for the Olympic team tryouts. Gordon Hayward just last season. I mean, how about Sean Livingston, that knee injury you saw him, where just sometimes in sports, body parts are bent ways that they aren't supposed to be bent. And unfortunately, there are cameras everywhere, and you see every detail until everybody collectively says, you know what, don't show that thing anymore. And if you haven't seen it, dude, honestly, just take a ball game show's word for it. Don't go back and watch it. No need to. If you've seen the Theismann and you saw the Paul George, you don't need to see the Yusuf Nurkic last night. By the way, what a game. What a game. A double overtime thriller ending in a Blazer victory, another one, against a hot-to-trot Brooklyn Nets team that, honestly, I'm not going to be surprised if that Nets team beats somebody in the playoffs and advances to the Eastern Conference semis. That's a good team, dude. And you know what? The darndest thing about this thing is so was Portland. Or was it so was Portland? The Blazers were playing great ball. I mean, only the Clippers and the upstart Orlando Magic are on a longer current win streak than your Portland Trailblazers. They've won 7 out of the last 10 games, 4 in a row, playing, you could argue, the best ball any Blazer team has played for a few years, man. Honestly, I think if you talk to Damian and you really ask Damian Lillard, like, hey, Dame, you know, this team playing right now before the Nurk injury last night, is this the best collection of talent? Is this the best group you've had, Damian, since you've been here? And I think you'd be hard-pressed to find Damian says, look, you know, top to bottom, the entire roster, not a starting 5, but including a bench, coaching staff, the right part of age for a lot of these players. Honestly, I think Dame might legitimately tell you, yeah, this is the best squad I've had here. And this is going to be a long recovery for Yusuf Nurkic. Don't count him in next season. He's not going to be playing next season. And probably in 2 years, and we'll see where he is then. Now, I will report this, okay? I will report this, that he did undergo surgery, Nurk did, today. And according to ESPN, he is expected to make a full recovery. This according to the team in a press release. The team did say, and rightfully so, there is no timetable whatsoever for his return. And let's just keep a Yusuf Nurkic return right now so far away. Let's not even talk about that. I mean, no, I'm not even talking about it. I'm not even going to talk, well, maybe playoffs next year. I'm not even going there either. I think it's a full year out. Like, I don't think we'll see Yusuf Nurkic, honestly, until the 2020-2021 season. I say that a million times. 2020, 2021, that year. I don't think we see Nurk until then. And it's a sad deal for a kid. Like I said, the Blazers, Nurk's got a plus-minus this year of plus 10. That's really high in this league. Means when he's out there, the Blazers typically outscore their opponents by 10 points per 48 minutes. Nurk's had a terrific season. Ball Game Show brought to you again by Benchwarmers Pub and Grill. Every Blazer game, I'm sure Benchies last night, because they air every Blazers game. I was watching this one at home, but I can imagine the crew at Benchwarmers, those Rip City faithful that go to Benchwarmers to watch every Blazer game. There must have been some moaning and groaning in Benchies last night. Joe Theismann, Paul George, some devastatingly gruesome injuries in sports history. This Yusuf Nurkic one last night was every bit of that. Basically, he jumped in the air, landed on a player. The officiating was skeptical at best, too. I don't know what they were doing last night from an officiating standpoint. Allowing a lot of contact in there. Anyway, that's for a later part of this show. The first part is it's a mega stinking bummer. And those people that talk about the Portland Trailblazer big man curse, they don't love this, but this just is another stinking line. This is another chapter there, that the Blazers as an organization are cursed with big men. Call it, I don't know, the Bob McAdoo curse. Call it the Dr. J curse. Because in 1972, the Blazers had the first pick in the draft. They took a player from Loyola, Chicago, LaRue Martin, one of the biggest first overall pick busts of all time. They passed on a future MVP winner, Bob McAdoo. He went number 2, a few spots down. Some guy named Irving, Julius Irving, an icon in basketball, an ambassador for basketball. The most popular basketball player on earth for a long period of time was the Doctor. Maybe it's a McAdoo Dr. J curse, and the Blazers are never going to hit on a big in the history of their franchise. Even when they hit on it, they won't let it last too long. Just ask Bill Walton's foot. Ask Greg Oden's knee. Ask Sam Bowie's knee. Remember this, Greg Oden did not have knee issues before being drafted by Portland. Note that. The only issue Greg Oden had in college, he broke his wrist, and he still played. Greg Oden didn't have knee injuries. I'd love to think if he did, they wouldn't have taken him. But no, Greg Oden's knee. Sam Bowie had knee injuries in college, took him anyway, had knee problems in the pros. Arvydas Sabonis, by the time he was able to come over and play with the team, was a shell of what you saw in the 1988 Olympics, where his Lithuania team won the gold, and Arvydas Sabonis absolutely took David Robinson to school. Arvydas Sabonis was the best big on the planet for a while. His country just wouldn't let him come over. And finally, when he was able to, he wasn't near the player that he once was. The curse of the Blazer, big. I don't know if that's a thing or not. You tell me. 963-4122. I can open up the Farmers Insurance hotline here. Anything you want to say in regards to the Nurkic injury on this Blazer team, where you think they're headed, where you think maybe they were headed? I mean, what is this a difference of? I'll talk about that in a second. But anybody wants to get in on this, speak now or forever, stink and hold it. You can email me as well, JohnnyBallGameShow@gmail.com. Love to get your thoughts on the Blazers. I mean, gosh, it was looking so good, wasn't it? I mean, this Portland Trailblazer team going into last night's game is a mega headache for any team in the league the way they were playing. Like, they are not an easy out for anyone. And they would have given somebody a lot of hell in the playoffs at full health. Defensively, what Nurk did offensively with him in the passing game. Now, I know they picked up Cantor, and that's going to help. Great. Cantor at his best is a 15-10 guy, kind of like what Nurk is too, but Nurk's so much more athletic and so much more gifted with the basketball, in my opinion, than Enes Kanter. And there's a lot of defensive charts you can look at that will tell you Jusuf Nurkic is twice the defender that Enes Kanter is also. What does this also mean? Does this mean a return of Myers Leonard and Zach Collins to getting mega minutes? Do the Blazers look to sign a Zach Randolph, who's on the street? Martin Gortat on the street. Carmelo Anthony on the street. Do they look and go in a direction like that? Dwight Howard on the street. Dwight Howard's probably not as old as you think. I don't know what their need or what they would ask for, but maybe some direction there. Do the Blazers bring somebody in? And then, first I'll focus on this season, but just to put this in your thought, who starts at center opening night next year? It ain't going to be Nurkic. Like, this is a problem that is going to bleed into all of next season, dude. It's not like, oh, this year's a wash, but hey, next year they'll be back. Where are they going to be next year? Who's going to be a center? It's not going to be Jusuf. I mean, this is a year thing, minimum. Apparently, though, being reported again that he did have successful surgery and he's expected to make a full recovery. That sounds really nice, but we'll see on that. We'll definitely see. Let's get this thing going. Ball Game Show, your Island City Speed Lube top story on a Tuesday. Obviously, I'm starting with the Yusuf Nurkic clip, the injury last night. And as I said, it's as nasty, gruesome as any sports injury you will see. It's Joe Theismann Monday Night Football stuff, where you see the bone sticking out of the skin. You see a foot hanging on by skin, no longer supported by bone. It's one of those you see in sports. Every couple of years, you see one of these things, and you know what? You don't want to see it too many times. Like I said, if you haven't seen it, say you heard it on this station on the radio last night, and you haven't seen it yet, dude, don't see it. It was funny, dude. I had a buddy of mine, Kyle, okay, down there at Goss Motors. Kyle watches the games late, okay? He I don't know, he has a life. I don't know what he's doing. But a lot of times he's behind, okay? So when this Nurkic deal happened, I texted my buddy last night and I said, "Hey, you watching this?" Because I figured he was behind. He said, "No, I'm in the second quarter right now." So I'm like, "Okay." I almost thought to text Kyle and say, "You know what, dude? Something's going to happen. Don't watch it. Don't go through that." I almost warned my friend on that, but I didn't. It was such a good game, and you know what? He's seen nasty injuries. I didn't want to spoil the result of the game and whatnot, but no, he saw it. We texted each other this morning, and he was as sick as everybody. Let me say this. Before this injury, going into last night's game, which, by the way, Nurk last night was brilliant. What was he at, 32 and 15? He was brilliant. He was the best player on the floor last night. And sometimes he is, right? That's what I love about Nurk. Sometimes he's unguardable. Anyway. Going into overtime last night, this Portland Trailblazer team, in my opinion, had a ceiling of the Western Conference Finals, in my opinion. They're a half game behind the 3 seed, which they had last year. If they were to get the 3 seed or 4 seed this year, win in the first round, if they get the Nuggets, say, in the second round, I think that series would have been a nightmare for both teams. I'm talking 6-7 game series there, Portland versus Denver. Certainly a series I think Portland would be able to win. Denver would be favored, rightfully so, but I could see Portland winning that series. Then they're in the Western Conference Finals. And who knows there. But to me, that was this team's absolute ceiling, winning 2 playoff series, going to the Western Conference Finals. That was the ceiling for this club. I fully believe that. The way they were playing, staying healthy, and hey, they've been doing this with McCollum out too, by the way. Luckily, I believe he's back tomorrow or Friday. CJ will return. And they need something to pump up the morale of this team, because I'm telling you, that is a locker room right now full of a bunch of depressed players. I'm going to play you a clip on Damian last night. He was almost crying talking about his buddy. And this is well documented, but Damian and Nurk are boys. Like Damian, that's his little brother, his big little brother. But Dame took Nurk under his wing when he first got here, and they're really good friends. Like they hang out at each other's house. Nurkic likes, coming over, popping by, seeing Damian's 1-year-old boy. Nurk doesn't have kids, kind of like a father or uncle figure for Damian's little kid. They're really good friends, man. So this goes beyond hoops for a guy like Damian, who obviously, if you know Damian at all as a player, not personally, not many people listening to the show probably do, but if you know him just as a player and you study him, this community, this team, this thing means a lot to Dame beyond basketball. And that's a tough one. And now, where is this Blazer team's ceiling? I would say winning a playoff series. That's the ceiling. That means getting out of the first round and, I don't know, maybe playing your tail off and having a competitive round 2. I don't know. Nurk was a really big piece of the puzzle, guys. I'm not breaking news to you on that. You watch this team play. You know how important Yusuf was to this whole thing? I mean, they needed Nurk. I don't want to just completely crumple up the season. That's such a bummer to do on stinking March 26th when this Blazer team, you could argue, has been playing as well as this franchise has played in a decade. This Blazer team's really good this year, guys. They're tough. They're fun to watch. They get along, liking each other, well coached. Dude, it's a good roster. It's a good squad. It's a squad that could have went, I think, if the chips would have fell in their favor a little bit, they could have won a couple series. Maybe had a sneak appearance in the Western Conference Finals. Now, look, I mean, I don't know who they play round one. Say they get Utah round one. Cantor's going to have his hands full with Gobert for a series, and that's an understatement. I don't know. Hopefully, Cantor comes in. He plays the best basketball he's played in his career. Zach Collins and Myers Leonard somehow, some way, answer the call as a second big. I don't know. What about signing Carmelo? You're going to need a scoring boost somewhere. Can Melo help provide that? I'm serious, man. I don't know. I don't know if this season is savable, but I'm all for giving it a chance. Martin Gortat, formerly of the Magic and then the Wizards, big bald dude. I mean, he had some good years in this league. He's looking for work. Maybe you bring him in. Zach Randolph. I don't know what old Zebo's doing today, right now. I could probably take a guess or two. But do you bring Zebo back? He comes off the bench as a scoring big. Former Blazer. Does it come full circle for Zebo? I'd be cool with Zach Randolph coming back. Would you? I mean, do you call David West? No longer in the league, retired from the Warriors after winning a couple of titles. David West, real physical inside presence. Call David West, get him off his couch. Come in and play 14, 18 minutes a night, maybe more if needed. I don't know. But the ceiling for this Portland Trailblazer team, for me, dropped significantly. And we'll see how this injury lingers in that locker room. That was a bad deal. Island City Speed Lube top story. Here's an Island City Speed Lube audio clip. This is Damian talking to the Portland media last night, sitting at his locker after the game when asked his thoughts on the Yusuf Nurkic injury.
It made me sick to my stomach. I just saw, I think, he tried to tip it in. He crashed the glass. And I saw him hit the ground, and he rolled over real quick. And I thought, maybe he got hit in the face or something again. And as I was walking over there, I saw everybody else turn around real quick and walk away. And then I looked, and I saw his leg, and I was just like, just hate to see that happen to him. I was there. I was playing in the game in Vegas when the same similar thing happened to Paul George, and that's exactly what it looked like to me when I saw it. And I was just like, it's unfortunate. I never want to see that to anybody, let alone your friend, teammate.
Yeah, and that's Damian Lillard last night, sick to his stomach. Yeah, Dame was on that team Team USA squad in 2015 in Las Vegas in an exhibition game where we saw similar thing happen. Compound break to Paul George. Now, hey, Paul George is going to finish in the top 5 in MVP voting this year. It took Paul George roughly a year to come back. I don't know where the similarities and non-similarities are to George and Nurk. I know Nurk's a lot bigger. I know he's got a lot more weight. I know Nurk's previously broken his other leg earlier in his career. I know some people are telling me, Johnny, it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what they do. This franchise is cursed when it comes to big men. Now, this is totally unfair. I shouldn't even read this, but I will on the Northwest Furniture and Mattress text line. Johnny, you forgot to mention Kevin Duckworth, who's dead. I didn't mention Kevin Duckworth because his death is not a part of some stupid NBA curse that you have. That's terribly insensitive. I'm sorry for even stinking reading that. Kevin Duckworth's death is not because he was a Blazer big man. Stop with your stupid sports and get a stupid life. This is a basketball, it's a sports thing, okay? It's not a life or death situation. Kevin Duckworth was a 2-time All-Star in Portland. He's actually the one big that honestly, the curse didn't hit. Ballgame Show, Benchwarmers Pub and Grill. My opinion there. But that's where we are right now. The Portland Trail Blazers, a huge hit. We'll see how they look tomorrow in Chicago against the Bulls. We'll see what they do, if anything, to bring in another player. But a horrific injury last night to 24-year-old Bosnian beast Jusuf Nurkic that's going to have him out for a significant amount of time. No timetable on his return. The Blazers officially said today he's gone this year and he's probably gone next year too. Just throw that in there, and anything beyond that, that's going to be the fall of 2020. Maybe he's ready. I don't know. I don't know if you know this, but this is the first year of the new contract Jusuf Nurkic signed. So contractually, for the salary cap, that type of situation hurts the Blazers deeply too. Nurk makes $12 million a year, which is such a friendly deal. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Nurk, for signing that deal. But the Blazers now will owe him $36 million, $12 million per season for the next 3 years. And I don't know how much they're going to get of that. I don't know. I don't know if there's a type of injury situation on your salary cap, some type of injury relief where they can use the money they're going to spend on Nurk next year to bring somebody else in. If not, then they're not just going to be able to go bring somebody in. They're going to have to find somebody on the scrap heap. And usually, if you're looking at appliances at a junkyard, try to find something that's going to work, dude, that's going to be tough to find. Anyway, really rough deal. Ball Game Show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Brought to you by Benchwarmers Pub and Grill. Let's have some fun today. I got a couple of guests. We had her on a couple of weeks ago. She's as talented in this business as anybody we bring on. She's a basketball writer. She covers high school and college basketball for Yahoo Sports. Her name's Krysten Peak. She is live at the McDonald's All-American game for high school. She's going to hop on the Farmers Insurance Hotline, hour number 2. We also have this guy, bring him on about once a year. Very busy man as well. He's a sports columnist with the Spokesman Review. That's the big newspaper out of Spokane. He covers Gonzaga basketball better than anybody in the country. His name is John Blanchette. He's been writing for this newspaper for 30 plus years. He's covered the Zags since before they were even the Zags. He's coming on this program today to talk about Gonzaga and Florida State coming up on Thursday. That's going to be about 5:10, 5:05, right when we get to our third hour. John Blanchette going to hang out with us too, Farmers Insurance Hotline. So some good guests, excited to bring on. We'll do fill in the blank, hour number 3 as well. We'll get after this today. Ball Game Show, Benchwarmers Pub and Grill. Major bummer, certainly no other way. Major bummer for the Blazers and Nurk last night. Just tragic.
Want the best deal in town? Legacy Ford has an oil change special and free check engine diagnosis. Trust Legacy Ford's service for work on any make or model. Legacy also offers the best service deal in town with $20 gas and $60 diesel oil changes. Plus, free check engine light diagnosis. Yep, free. Legacy Ford, 7-time President's Exceptional Service Award winner, also offers 0% interest up to 1 year same as cash OAC. So visit LegacyFord.net to schedule your appointment online or call 963-2161 today.
Un lugar para divertirse y minar deportes de verdad es Benchwarmers Pub and Grill en La Grande, Oregón. Tienen hamburguesas, papas fritas, alas de pollo y todas diferentes canastas de comida aquí en Benchwarmers Pub and Grill. Los deportes que tienen en todas las pantallas es lo mejor que he visto aquí en toda la ciudad de La Grande en Benchwarmers Pub and Grill. Benchwarmers Pub and Grill en La Grande, Oregón.
The current Northeast Oregon road conditions are as follows. On I-84, there are no road closures to report at this time. Clear roads are being reported in the Meacham and Cabbage Hill area, as well as the Ladd Canyon and Baker City areas, too. There is a minimum chain restriction in effect, though. You are required to carry chains or traction tires regardless of current conditions. For more road condition updates, stay tuned throughout the day or visit tripcheck.com.
Hi, I'm Karen. I'm the one holding the slow sign in the work zone when you're running late. Look, I'm late sometimes too, so I understand. It's great that you slow down when you see me, but the thing is, you need to slow down even when I'm not out here. Work zones mean heavy equipment, loose gravel, and narrow lanes, and that can mean a serious crash if you're driving too fast. So when you see me, slow down for my sake. When you don't, slow down for yours. Respect the zone. It's the way to go. A message from me and ODOT.
Text messages coming through on the Northwest Furniture and Mattress text line. Johnny Ballgame, I love you. Thank you. When I saw this injury last night, I rewound it a couple of times because at first it looked so bad I thought it was fake. Damn, you rewound that. Oh, wait, dude, yeah. I can see maybe you saying that. It looked so gruesome. You're like, there's no way that it could be as gruesome as that. No, it was. It was worse. I mean, it was Joe Theismann stuff. I could argue it looked worse than Theismann's. Did it? Was that worse than Theismann? I mean, Paul George, Joe Theismann, Gordon Hayward was nasty. Beginning of last year, first game of last year's season? That was nasty too. It was right up there. I mean, if we want to go down a rabbit hole today of the most gruesome injuries you've ever seen in sports, they text them in. 541-962-7700. Please don't text me a pic or email me a picture. That I don't need to see. Chances are I'll remember it. I think we've all seen most of the gruesome injuries. Here's another one. Johnny, when I saw that I could see the video today, I purposely did not watch it. I have not seen it. I hope I never see it. That's from Caleb. So Caleb wasn't watching the game last night. He obviously caught the news today. He saw what everybody was talking about. He saw the video available of the availability of the video, and he didn't click there. And I don't blame him. Caleb, you don't need to see it. Just take everybody's word for it. Caleb, I know you saw Joe Theismann's. It was on that level. Bone sticking where it shouldn't be. His foot was only hanging there by the skin. There was no support from the bone. It was as bad as we've seen. Yusuf Nurkic, such a tough deal for him, obviously, and such a beloved Blazer too. Rip City loves Nurk. You know, his attitude, enthusiasm, his toughness. I mean, we love Yusuf Nurkic. By the way, my boy Mikey texted in the show. Johnny, Kevin Ware, March Madness 2013, saw it live. OMG. That's the Louisville kid, Kevin Ware. Mikey, I appreciate you texting that in. That was in front of the whole world as well. Because was that an Elite Eight game? I think it was an Elite Eight game. I think it was Duke versus Louisville. I think Louisville won. That was the year Louisville won the national title. Peyton Siva and those guys. Patino's last. And I remember that was the same type of thing. Yeah, same thing. It's tough, man. It's tough. And you can just hope that there's some type of a recovery. Kevin Ware, bless his heart, I don't think recovered. I mean, if he was supposed to be an NBA All-Star, NBA guy, he didn't end up being that, Kevin Ware. So tough deal for him. Keep the calls, emails, and text messages coming in. Now, quickly, before I get to the Conor McGregor stuff, okay, because there's Conor McGregor stuff today, couple things. Going to get there today with Conor McGregor. Also want to go to NFL stuff. NFL schedule guessers. There could be some really crazy week 1 games on the NFL schedule. Like, just, you cannot miss these games, and it's week 1. NFL, dude. Crazy. But there's going to be an opportunity moving forward for Enes Kanter. Now, Enes Kanter is a free agent at the end of the year. Here's a guy who's made a ton of money in this league. He was signed to a ridiculous contract earlier. Enes Kanter was, I believe, by the Oklahoma City Thunder. I believe that's who signed him to that original deal. It was an OKC. And then they were able to trade him to the idiotic Knicks, and they ended up paying him some of his money, and that's who's paying it right now. The Blazers got Cantor for $650,000 this year because he's making $18 million from the Knicks. But anyway, he's a free agent after this year. Enes Kanter is. Enes, if you want a big contract, Enes, if you want to make good money again, well, here's your opportunity. You are now the starting center for a team that's a half game out of the 3 seed in the Western Conference, a team that looked like it was, prone to be able to win a playoff series, maybe 2. And Enes Kanter, career 12 points, 7 rebounds. Best season Enes Kanter has had would be 2015, 15.5 points, 9 rebounds. Best season of his career. Portland's going to need that. They're going to need about 13 to 16 points, certainly 7 to 10 rebounds from Enes Kanter from here on out. Enes Kanter, 26 years young, not all that much older than Yusuf Nurkic at 24. But the opportunity, no question, is right there for Enes Kanter. He's going to have to play the best ball of his career. Look, I'm not saying Portland's going to get swept now. I'm not saying their season is going to go in the dumpster where they're going to lose, 11 out of the final 12 games. They're going to limp into the playoffs as a 7 seed, and they're going to get swept. I really hope that's not the stinking case, dude. Like, that would be the worst thing ever. I really hope that's not the stinking case. I'm hoping they still play solid ball, really good ball the rest of the year, real solid ball, let me say. And they still take it to somebody in the first round. I still think this team, if you get the right matchup, right now, it would be Blazers-Clippers in the first round of the playoffs. Even without Yusuf Nurkic, even with how surprised I am with the LA Clippers, Doc Rivers probably deserves Coach of the Year this year, him or Budenholzer in Milwaukee. Budenholzer will probably get it, but my gosh, look at Doc's roster. Aren't his 2 leading scorers coming off his bench? That Clipper team is weird. But I would take Portland over that Clipper team in a 7-game series, even without Nurk. The question is, how do you hold that position without Nurk? How does this team not play under 500 ball possibly from here on and drop out of hosting a home field or hosting a playoff series? I don't know. Time will obviously tell. Farmers Insurance Hotline, let's take a call on this. Caller, welcome to the Johnny Ballgame Show, Rip City. Your thoughts on the Nurkic injury and what's coming, and appreciate you calling, man. What's up?
Well, I think that Myers Leonard needs to step way up.
Gosh, is that like me saying, you know what? I just need to go on a date with Rihanna, and I don't care how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get her, man. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna impress her. I'm gonna find her outside the Coffee Bean in L.A. and heck yeah, I'm gonna date Rihanna. I mean, is that basically
much?
I mean, because
Pretty much, bud. But I mean, that's a hope. Look at what they've got, and that's a hope that Myers Leonard plays ball.
Are you for them pursuing someone currently looking for work?
Yeah, but it's got to be better than Myers.
Mello?
No.
Okay. Yeah, you're not a Mello guy, are you?
No.
Okay, no Mello. What about, Martin Gortat? Had a good, solid career with Dwight Howard, Zach Randolph.
Gortat is kind of versatile, has a little bit of game, and can, muck up the middle.
Uh-huh.
Dwight, no, there's too much nonsense and too much time sitting there.
Okay. No Dwight Howard.
But no Mello. Mello is no.
Okay.
But the worst sports injury I ever saw was Jason Kendall, the Pirates catcher, running to first base.
Man,
He hit the bag weird, ran on it for a ways afterwards.
So
that was the worst.
Gosh, I'll have to, I don't want to say I'll look it up because I probably won't, right? Should I? I probably should. I don't remember the Jason Kendall Pittsburgh Pirate injuy. He was a catcher, right? Jason Kendall?
Yeah, ended up with the Giants, I think.
Okay, no other player, it wasn't a collision, it was just him stepping on the bag wrong?
Yeah, and, running out a grounder to first base.
Yeah.
He stepped on the bag wrong, his ankle folded, and he ran on it for a ways. Yeah, that was the worst.
Give me a year roughly on that. Circa when?
Late 90s, I think.
Wow, all right.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. So, all right, so you're saying, hey, Myers Leonard, step it the hell up.
Or Gortat.
Yeah, our sign Gore Todd. What about Zach Collins? I mean, obviously he's going to get minutes now, right? Zach Collins.
Oh, well, I'd like his game all year long, off and on.
Yeah.
But, he's a second-year player. What are you really going to get? And the good thing about Nurkic was he was a side of beef in the middle. I mean, nobody bullied him.
Big boy and athletic, too. Yep. We're going to miss his passing offensively, his ability to score on the block offensively, his passing down low, and then defensively, everything you just said. Nurk is going to be vastly missed, man.
Yes, yeah. I had hopes of him going, to the second round. But without Nurk, I don't see it happening.
So you're saying right now, if you were to put money on this, the Blazers are out in the first round?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, DP. Good stuff, bro.
Yep.
Ball Game Show, Benchwarmers Pub and Grill. Anything you want to tip, piggyback on what DP said, or do you want to call DP a DB? Please call on in. Farmers Insurance Hotline, that's a place for that. 541-963-4122. What's your take? Appreciate it. I don't care who you are, call in on this. Let me know your thoughts. I still want to hold out hope that you can win a first-round playoff series. I still want to hold that hope. Now, remember, the Blazers will go into the playoffs on a 10-game playoff losing streak. That's going to be a bummer. That's going to be something, hopefully, that please ends this year. If this team gets swept this year, dude, I don't know if I can handle this. I don't know if I can handle another playoff sweep, and I haven't even been a Blazer fan all that long. If my Sonics never would have been stinking hijacked, now I'm rooting for this team. I had a choice. I'm sorry, but you give me some credit on this, right? When your team moves the way the Sonics moved, you have a free pass, right? You got a hall pass to find a new team, don't you? And with that hall pass, I chose Portland. Slap me sideways. I mean, what the heck? I mean, I know the Lakers aren't winning either, but eventually they will. Why didn't I just put all my allegiance to the Lakers when the Sonics moved? What the hell did I do adopting the Blazers? This is miserable, man. No, I'm still holding out hope they can win a first-round playoff series. DP says, no way. They're out in the first round now, and that's a stinking middle school cafeteria smelling like egg stink bomb right there, dude. That's going to clear everybody out. That's a bummer. Ball Game Show, Benchwarmers Pub and Grill. I want to encourage everybody to support Blue Mountain Community College Timberwolf Athletics. Just over that hill in Pendleton, visit bmcctimberwolves.com. You'll get all the rosters, all the info, coaching information, schedules, scores, so you can follow your favorite BMCC programs, men's, women's basketball, men's, women's soccer, baseball, softball, rodeo. The athletic director, Dawn DeFurie-McClendon, does a terrific job running those programs over there. So let's show them some support from Union and Baker County. Again, that's bmcctimberwolves.com. Conor McGregor, couple of things. Stinking Conor McGregor. Ball Game Show, Benchwarmers Pub and Grill. Let's get there.
It's time now for your local weather forecast. In the Grand tonight, mainly cloudy skies with a few rain showers overnight, low of 34 degrees. For tomorrow, considerable cloudiness with occasional rain and a high near 50. In Baker City tonight, cloudy skies with occasional rain showers too, low of 36 degrees. And by tomorrow, cloudy and breezy conditions with light rain expected and a high near 50. This weather forecast is brought to you by
Self-Service Furniture Warehouse. They have mattresses, huge king-size mattresses starting at just $5.99 with adjustable bases and pillow top options for the ultimate comfort. Great prices, selection, and variety. Shop at Self-Service Furniture Warehouse, east end of Adams in LeGrand.
Stock up on your favorite tools at the best prices of the year at D&B's DeWalt Tool Sale. March 20th through the 31st. Save on the full DeWalt lineup throughout the store with deals like a free battery for each purchase of a 20-volt bare tool priced $99.99 and higher. So get prepared for your spring projects and find these deals and more during the DeWalt Tool Sale. March 20th through the 31st, only at your favorite D&B Supply.
Blue Mountain Auto Parts is your local Napa Auto Parts dealer. On Jefferson and downtown LeGrand, Blue Mountain Auto Parts is Eastern Oregon's leader for car, truck, and SUV accessories. Bed covers, power steps, roll bars, bed liners, in-bed toolboxes, they have it all. Blue Mountain Auto Parts also has a huge selection of power tools, hand tools, and everything in between. Monty and his staff are waiting to help you at Blue Mountain Auto Parts, your local Napa Auto Parts dealer.
Quick info, the NFL owners meetings going on, rule changes, protection to a defenseless player will now be more so. That's been elaborated, that's been continued, that's been expanded, I think is the word I'm talking about in the NFL. There will be more levels of protection for defenseless players. No new onside kick rule. The new kickoff rules implemented last year will now stay. Touchback, get the ball at the 25. As far as I can tell, no ability now to challenge pass interference, whether there's a flag or not. Nothing went through on that. So you're going to have to wait another year again. That's the only thing I really care about. I think in addition to what you can already challenge, throw on being able to challenge versus a pass interference call. I'm not trying to fix the worst no call ever, by the way. I'm saying if there is a flag, I should be able to challenge to pick the sucker up. But I can't challenge to throw a flag. That's going to open up a whole new can of worms, take us down an entirely new rabbit hole that I don't think the NFL wants to touch. So unfortunately, horrible, stinking things that happened in the NFC Championship game to those Saints fans last year. That's just one of those nightmares fans are going to still have to hope never happens to them. But, in the Canadian League, again, they've been doing this for 4 or 5 years. When the referee throws a flag on PI, if you disagree with it, you can challenge that, and they'll pick it up. And it does not hurt the Canadian League at all. As far as I know, Canadian fans stinking love it. And it's about a 50-50 deal, too. Some are picked up, some aren't. Some withstand, some keep it going. So I wish the NFL would do that. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen this year, as far as I know. Ballgame show, Bench Warmers Pub and Grill. Conor McGregor last night, announces that he will retire from mixed martial arts. He's no longer going to fight. I don't know if this means he might pursue boxing. I don't know if this means he might still pursue some type of UFC career or MMA career with another agency. I have no idea. Basically, it's just Conor McGregor being Conor McGregor, stealing the spotlight, doing what he does. And how many times? I swear I saw Sugar Ray Leonard retire 7 times. I think I saw Evander Holyfield retire like 5. They always come back. A lot of times in boxing over the years, I've felt that people announce a retirement so people will talk about him again. Hey, well, that guy's retired. He wouldn't come back. Oh, but would he? Oh, let's ask. Oh, he might come out of retirement. Oh, my gosh, Roberto Duran is coming out of retirement to fight Thomas the Hitman Hearns. Oh, geez, Tommy Hitman Hearns, he's coming out of retirement. He's going to fight Sugar Ray one more time. As Oscar De La Hoya came out of... boxers, fighters, combat guys come out of retirement. Money talks, dude. BS walks. And if the money calls Conor McGregor, I think he's doing really well with his whiskey company, among many other business ventures. I'm sure he's right in. But apparently, as for now, Conor McGregor says he's done fighting. This is another one. This is reported by Brett Okamoto. I've talked to Brett Okamoto. He used to come on our show on ESPN all the time. He covers UFC for ESPN, and Okamoto wrote today that UFC star Conor McGregor is under investigation for an alleged sexual assault in his native Ireland. This was originally reported by the New York Times. Yeah, I've heard of them. The Times reported today that McGregor, 30 years old, was accused of sexually assaulting a woman in December in Dublin, Ireland, and was arrested and released after questioning the next month. He has not formally been charged with a crime. The investigation is still ongoing. UFC officials did not immediately respond to requests for comment. I don't know what this means, because this report comes less than 24 hours after McGregor announced a retirement from all mixed martial arts on social media. Are these two things related? Who knows? But anyway, there's the latest on stinking Conor McGregor. Not a huge McGregor guy. Nah. Not. Yeah, I think I'll just keep it there. Let's move on. I got NFL stuff I want to talk about. This Portland Blazer big man curse. Do you believe in sports curses? Like, did you really believe in the curse of the Bambino, that the Red Sox weren't winning for World Series for over 80 years because they sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees, and there was some higher baseball power, some type of curse, some Game of Thrones witch that cursed the Red Sox and said, you're not going to win for however many years because you traded Babe Ruth? I mean, fans love talking curses. They love it, dude. That 1 year. I mean, seriously, you remember the black cat running across the Chicago Cub dugout? This was a weird thing. Wrigley Field, like in the 60s. The Cubs were like 6-7 games up in first place. Somebody brought a cat to Wrigley, a black cat, had it run across the dugout. And they said that cursed them. The Billy Goat curse. They have a lot of curses there in Chicago. Or is it just the Cubs were poorly mismanaged and owned for 100 or so years? But there's a lot of people in the Rib City community that just think the Blazers are cursed at that position. That whoever the Blazers get as a big man, ultimately, is going to come to a tragic situation. And that's what happened in Moda Center last night with Nurk, a basketball tragedy. A double compound break. Again, don't watch the clip. Don't need to. Anyway, we'll talk about the Blazer big man curse. I do want to go there. Ballgame Show, Benchwarmers Pub and Grill. Don't go anywhere.
A time of loss is a time for families to gather together for strength and comfort.
It was a sudden loss for all of us.
Fortunately, we had each other.
You have us as well. With a range of choices and services available, we've been helping families through their time of loss for generations. Daniel's Chapel of the Valley, serving the family for generations.
Daniel's Knopp Funeral, Cremation, and Life Celebration Center on 7th Street in LeGrand.
It's Black's Distributing for a strong, reliable fleet with Phillips 66 lubricants and fuels for cars, trucks, recreational vehicles, ag, and commercial equipment. Top off with top quality at Black's with non-ethanol fuel for easy starts and full power year-round. For boats, bikes, ATVs, snow machines, and small engines. Richland service is more convenient with attended fuel 8 to 5 p.m. all week and 24/7 debit, credit card self-service. Black's Distributing bulk and retail fuels in Baker City open 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week.
Ballgame Show, Benchwarmers Pub and Grill want to always encourage everybody for true Eastern Oregon comfort food to head to Joe Beans. What's up, Too Loud? The lovely Colleen, Mrs. Blaylock do a wonderful job at Joe Beans. Gosh, free Wi-Fi. I recommend the Big Blue Mountain. Dude, that's a hot pastrami turkey cheddar Swiss on a sub roll. Mayo, sweet hot mustard, lettuce, onion, tomato, oil, vinegar, salt, pepper. It's Eastern Oregon's best flippin' sandwich. It's the Big Blue Mountain. To be honest, I have a hard time ordering anything else at Joe Bean's. The cookies, the pastries, obviously the coffee, the beverages. You don't go wrong with Joe Bean's on Adams Avenue. Game of the night tonight. How about Rockets at Bucks? Hey, Blazers, you want to be in the 3-hole? You want to be the 3 seed again? Well, root for the Milwaukee Bucks at home tonight to defeat the Houston Rockets. If the Rockets lose, they go into a virtual tie with the Blazers. Not sure where the tiebreaker is. It's probably Houston's. But the Blazers and the Rockets would have identical records tonight if the Bucks, who have basketball's best record, beat the Rockets. That game's 5 p.m. on TNT. And I know Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith, who a couple of weeks ago predicted the Portland Trailblazers to make the finals. I mean, was it a crazy hot take? Sure. But that's where this Blazer team was, dude. You had folks picking them to beat the Warriors. People liked this team. Now, without Yusuf Nurkic, who the heck knows what's going on? You know, I said something a little earlier. I said, look, when my team moved, okay, I lost my team. The Seattle Supersonics. I lost my team. I should have been able to pick any team to root for, right? If you lose a team, if your team moves, that's your get-out-of-jail-free card, dude. You should be able to pick another team. I picked Portland. Like, really? I got a text coming in from my buddy Elmer Fudd, and he says, Johnny, if I was in your shoes, I would not be a Blazer fan. If the Blazers left Portland for a new city and the Sonics were left, pigs would fly before I'd ever root for the Sonics. So, yeah, he doesn't think I'm... Yeah, I get what you're saying. They were rivals. Interesting. Well put, Cal. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Here's the newsies.
Eastern Oregon's home for news, talk, weather, and sports. This is KLBM LeGrand and KBKR Baker City. Super Talk Radio, the
Russia
talk
probe,
of Eastern
healthcare
Oregon.
Fight. I'm Ann Cates. Attorney General William Barr plans to release the Mueller report in a matter of weeks. Trump personal attorney Rudy Giuliani was asked why the special counsel did not exonerate the president of obstruction charges.
Technically, you'd have to say that Mueller and Barr exonerated him on collusion, and the attorney general, the deputy attorney general, and OLC exonerated him on obstruction, not Mueller. Mueller punted. Mueller said, I can't say it's a crime, but I can't exonerate him.
The battle over health care has resumed in Washington.
The Republican Party will soon be known as the party of health care.
That's what President Trump had to say as he arrived on Capitol Hill to lunch with Senate Republicans shortly after the Trump administration told a federal appeals court it wants the entire Affordable Care Act struck down.
What they're doing is very destructive.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi indicated the move by the Justice Department will invigorate Democrats.
We will fight them in the Congress and in the courts.
House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer says Republicans are not the party of health care, as the president says.
The Trump administration has made every effort to sabotage the law.
Linda Kenyon, Capitol Hill.
A New York City suburb is banning unvaccinated minors from public places to fight a measles outbreak that has infected more than 150 people since October. Rockland County Executive Ed Day says the state of emergency that takes effect tonight is needed to persuade parents to vaccinate their kids.
Contracting the measles is not only dangerous while you have it, but it can lead to complications years later. Measles parties are not the preferred treatment. Those days are over. Every new case is a roll of the dice that could bring on pneumonia, encephalitis, or swelling of the brain, or cause premature birth, which can even lead to kind of complications and even death.
On Wall Street, the Dow rose 141 points. I'm Ann Cates.
A new poll says more Americans approve of President Trump than they do the big media. That's why millions are tuning in to Newsmax TV, America's new conservative channel. On Newsmax TV, see Bill O'Reilly, Pat Buchanan, Alan Dershowitz, Mike Reagan, and more. Bill O'Reilly's No Spin News Show is on Newsmax TV. Get it on DirecTV Channel 349, Xfinity 1115, Dish 216, UVerse 1220, Fios 615, and Spectrum. Newsmax TV. Real news for real people.
Hey,
Cybercriminals stole the W-2 forms from my friend's company.
Yeah, scammers impersonate CEOs in email and also launch attacks from compromised accounts.
What if they target us?
Don't worry. We have Barracuda Total Email Protection.
So we're secured?
Yes. Barracuda protects businesses of all sizes with artificial intelligence that blocks spear phishing, account takeover attempts, and business email compromise.
That's a relief.
Protect your business at Barracuda.com. Barracuda, your journey secure.
It's time now for your local weather forecast. In the Grand tonight, mainly cloudy skies with a few rain showers overnight, low of 34 degrees. For tomorrow, considerable cloudiness with occasional rain and a high near 50. In Baker City tonight, cloudy skies with occasional rain showers too, low of 36 degrees. And by tomorrow, cloudy and breezy conditions with light rain expected and a high near 50. This weather forecast is brought to you by
Grand Ronde Hospital. Thank you for placing your health in our hands and giving us the opportunity to serve you.
Grand Ronde Hospital, big city medicine with a hometown touch.
Listen up and listen in all the time to your favorite news talk station, Super Talk 1450 and 1490, the talk of Eastern Oregon. It's online streaming, available at supertalkradio.com. Whether smartphone, tablet, or computers, stream your Super Talk when and where you want it. Streaming on Super Talk Radio, sponsored by Nate Conklin State Farm Insurance, LeGrand. Let Nate Conklin and his team of highly trained professionals give you the peace of mind and value for all your insurance needs.
Next time you're headed to the Boise area, bring your appetite. Johnny Ballgame here saying, trust me when I tell you that Fat Guy's Fresh Deli in Meridian will change your sandwich-loving life. Just off I-84, the Eagle exit, on your way to Boise, Fat Guy's Fresh Deli has more sandwiches than you can count. Soups, salads, they make fresh daily. And if you mention you're from LeGrand or Baker City, owner Chef Wally will throw in your drink and soup for free. Fat Guy's Fresh Deli in Meridian, Idaho, on your way to Boise.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care. I ever get back, so let's root for the home team. They don't win, it's a shame. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
The Johnny Ballgame
Hour number 2, what's going on? Welcome back, Johnny Ballgame Show. Benchwarmers Pub and Grill. Get the jumbo pretzel. Next time you go to Benchwarmers, make sure you get that cheese sauce. You might want to just order 2. They're that good. Watch the Blazers tomorrow night at 5 p.m. from the United Center as they take on the tanking Bulls. Really, if you look at the Blazers schedule the rest of this week, all 3 road games, but I think winnable. In Chicago against the Bulls, in Atlanta against the Hawks, and then on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon Pacific time in Detroit to take on a pretty pesky Piston team. All 3 of those games are winnable games. And if the Blazers continue to do this, then maybe they get to host a home court playoff series. Without Yusuf Nurkic, that might be interesting moving forward. I want to go back to what my boy Kale said. Now, this is one of those deals, too, like maybe until you lose a team, you're just not going to have proper perspective. I've lost a team. But Kale says, again, Johnny, if I was in your shoes, I wouldn't be a Blazer fan. If the Blazers moved from Portland to a new city and the Sonics were still left, pigs would fly before I'd root for them. That's from my boy Fuddrucker over there, Elmer. And looking back on it, it wasn't like, it's almost like I didn't choose this. Like, I didn't just say, okay, I'm going to pick out of a hat and that's going to be my team. I kind of wish I would. That would have been kind of a fun segment. Like, could you imagine that? You know, can you imagine me picking out the Houston Rockets and now all of a sudden I'm a Rocket fan and that's it. Season pass. Where's my Harden jersey? Where's my dream Olajuwon poster that's going in my house? I'm a Rocket fan now. That'd be weird. When the Sonics left, I think it was after the 08 or 09 season, after they left, I didn't have an NBA team for a couple years. I didn't have a team. I still watch the NBA, but honestly, if I had to pick a team, It was whoever was playing Oklahoma City that night was my favorite team in the league. All I wanted was Oklahoma City to have the worst situation ever and them never, ever be able to win and never, ever get free agents, and for the whole league to look at that move and look at that situation and that transaction and say, okay, we absolutely missed on that. That was a dumb move for everybody. That's what I wanted. I know, I was petty and petulant. I was sad, man. My team left. I was a big baby about it. But I didn't pick up the Blazers until I moved back to LeGrand in like May of 2010, when I initially got the job with this company here, Pacific Empire Radio, to do the Ballgame show. And, you know, we became Blazer affiliates. So I was talking about them. You know, my relatives, my friends in town were rooting for them. I was watching them. That was when they were easier to find on TV. But that's kind of how it happened. It wasn't like, okay, now that the Sonics are gone, I'm taking the closest team and I'm just going to pick them up. That's not how it happened. I was living in Oregon. I was paying attention to them because professionally we were airing the games on this network, on this radio station, all that type of stuff. And really the biggest factor at the time was Brandon Roy. At the time, Brandon Roy was my favorite player. Brandon Roy is probably my favorite college player of all time. 4-year player at the University of Washington. I loved B. Roy. He was a Seattle guy, Garfield High School, followed him his whole time there. And when Roy got drafted in Portland, oh, and by the way, Nate McMillan was the coach. Nate McMillan's nickname is Mr. Sonic. The Sonics retired his number. It was one of the last numbers that they retired. He had his number retired, and Nate McMillan probably averaged 7 points a game for the Sonics. Played his whole career there, and they retired his number. It's a very Northwestern thing to do. So that's kind of why I adopted him. And also, Paul Allen, the owner of the Blazers, was the owner of my Seahawks. There was just a lot of similarities there. It just made it kind of an easy deal. I mean, I loved Brandon Roy. I'm not joking you at all. I went to Game 4 of the 1993 Western Conference Finals in the Seattle Coliseum before they built Key Arena. In the Seattle Coliseum, Game 4, 1993 Western Conference Finals. Seattle Supersonics, Phoenix Suns. That was the Barkley team that went to the finals. That was the season Charles Barkley won league MVP. Barkley, Thunder Dan, Kevin Johnson, a really good Suns team. I watched my Sonics beat them by 20 that day. I was wearing, and I joke you not, I was wearing a white and green Nate McMillan jersey. That's how much I loved Nate. I could have got a Gary. I already had a Kemp. I could have got a Big Smooth. No, I bought a Nate McMillan jersey. That's how much I liked Nate. So all of a sudden, all these things were there. And not like you care, I guess. I probably spent 10 minutes too long on that. But that's why I became a Blazer fan. It wasn't just because they were located close to the Sonics. But yeah, looking back on it, yeah, maybe I should have found another team. I don't know. But I'm with them now. I can't jump off now because I like them. I mean, I'm not going to root against Damian Lillard. I like what they have going on. It's my team now. Now, things will get interesting when, I'm going to say when, not if, when Seattle gets a squad back. I'm not going to lie, the Sonics will probably come right up there to number 1. I don't know how I'll feel about the Blazers then. That'll be a weird deal. Hopefully that'll be a weird deal that I get to experience before I'm 70 years old. Get that stinking team back. Ballgame Show, Benchwarmers Pub and Grill. Got Krysten Peak coming on this hour. She is terrific at what she does. She works for Yahoo and Rivals. She covers high school basketball recruiting better than anybody I bring on this show, and she really knows the college side of things. She's an ex-player, and I met her, like I said, at the PK 80 when I was covering that event. I was sitting next to her. She was with Yahoo, and I was sitting next to her on the media row during a Duke game, and we were shooting the breeze a little bit, and we exchanged business cards and whatnot, and I told her I have a show, and I'd love her to come on, and she said anytime, so we bring her on a couple times a year this time of year. She's at the McDonald's High School All-America game this week, so she'll have some really cool stuff for us. That'll be a fun interview on the Farmers Insurance Hotline in about 20 minutes or so. But I wanted to spend a little bit of time. I had a bunch of texts, bunch of Facebook posts today. Oh, it's the curse of Blazer big man, Johnny. The Oregonian had an article on it, on the Blazer big man curse. And it's funny to think about. I mean, LaRue Martin, drafted in 1972. No, he didn't get hurt. He just wasn't any good at all. Bill Walton, maybe the best player in the history of this organization for a 1 or 2 year stretch. I think that's fairly safe to say. Bill Walton's still the only Portland Trailblazer to ever win a league MVP award. Okay, only Blazer ever to win league MVP. Shockingly enough, tell me when this happens again, by the way. Bill Walton won a league MVP and he only played 58 games. Let me know when that happens. When a guy who wins, they were trying to take the MVP away from LeBron a couple of years ago because he missed 10 games or 6 games. Oh, can't win it. He missed too many games. Bill Walton missed 24 games 1 year out of 82. He missed a quarter of the season and he won league MVP. And then his feet had major issues, and they didn't hold up. Curse of the Blazer big man. They drafted Moses Malone in the ABA dispersal draft. Had him play a couple of preseason games. Yeah, I guess they didn't like what they saw, but they traded Moses Malone. Moses Malone would have been on the 77 championship team. He would have been on that squad as just a young little 19, 20-year-old pup learning under Walton. Moses would go on to be enshrined or listed as one of the 50 greatest players in NBA. He was on that NBA 50 list with Walton. Yeah, the Blazers had 2 players on that list. I don't think Maurice Lucas was. No, he was not. But yeah, and they traded Moses Malone. You know, after Walton was gone, you know, they get a good pick again. They draft Sam Bowie, who had injury problems in college. Sam Bowie missed 2 full years of college basketball because of knee injuries. And they still took him. Gosh, they must have loved that guy. My gosh, seriously. Did he have, nude photos of Bucky Buckwalter, whoever the case that was? Shout out to my boy Bucky Buckwalter. My dad was in the same high school graduating class here in LeGrand High School as Bucky Buckwalter. The man who was running the Blazers and was an NBA Executive of the Year at one point. Bucky Buckwalter, by the way, did not draft Sam Bowie. He was a scout at that point. He was not the final decision maker. Let all LHS Tiger alums remember that. Because if you're arguing famous LHS Tiger alums, kind of starts for me with Bucky Buckwalter. Look him up. He ran the Blazers, and he was a LeGrand High School graduate in 1951, same year my dad graduated. Anyway, Sam Bowie, tragic. Arvydas Sabonis, the situation we talked about last hour. But by the time Arvydas came to Portland, it was just not even close to the player that you would watch on those old European highlight tapes or the 1988 Olympic Games before they let NBA players join. And it was a group of college kids led by David Robinson that got smoked by Arvydas Sabonis, Drazen Petrovic, and Sarunas Marciulionis. Smoked them, damn near killed them. And that was the first time Team USA, actually second time Team USA didn't win the gold. The other time was, of course, that 72 versus Russia? Or was that 76? I think it was 72. Was that in Munich? Anyway, I'm not great with my Olympics. But by the time Sabonis came over, it was fun. He was still good, but he wasn't going to crack an all-star team. If the Blazers would have had Sabonis when they drafted him, which was in the mid-'80s, he would have been the center on those Drexler Porter teams. Kevin Duckworth would have came off the bench Or Arvydas would have played a stretch 4 or something. At that point, at that time, maybe he was able to. I don't know. It would have been an interesting conundrum for old Rick Adelman had he had Arvydas Sabonis in his prime. And Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, that would have been a tough situation for those Bulls teams had Portland had a fully healthy, willing, capable, ready Arvydas Sabonis. And then obviously the Greg Oden situation. I mean, what do you say about that? What do you say about that? I mean, you say, I told you to take Durant. Everybody now says that. But at the time, Greg Oden didn't have any knee situation issues. He didn't. He broke his wrist in college, and he still played, and he played well. In that Ohio State team, him and Mike Conley went all the way to the national title game before losing to Joakim Noah, Al Horford, and that Florida group. But no, Greg Oden's knees were fine, dude. It didn't happen until he got to Portland. Stress fracture stuff, and it was a joke. He played 82 games in, 3-4 years? Greg Oden. Did you see pictures of him? If you were watching the Ohio State Buckeye game, like he's still involved with Ohio State. He's like an assistant or athletic advisor or something. Like Greg Oden works for Ohio State, I believe. He was at the NCAA tournament game Ohio State was playing in over the weekend. Gosh, you thought he looked old 10 years ago? He looks really old now. I feel, for Greg Oden. Yeah. I know he got into some domestic violence issues, and I don't know much on that, and I don't have any pity for him in any regard in that. No question. But certainly that NBA career really never got going, and Portland just has to sit there and eat it. And then now Yusuf Nurkic, 24 years young, up-and-coming player, playing at an all-star caliber type of level at that position. Certainly by far a top 10 to 12 center in this league right now. Maybe you could say top 7 to 10. Maybe you could say top 6. Now find me 7 centers you'd rather have than Nurk for a full season. And moving forward, too, he's 24. He's one of the youngest guys at that position. Like, he's a baby there. 24 is still young, man. And now the Blazers lose him for, heck, we don't even know how long. The curse of the Blazer, big. It's tough not to say it's not a thing. I'm not a big sports curse guy. Just haven't, I'm a big bad management, horrible drafting guy. And obviously bad luck happens to every team has horror bad luck stories. They really do. Like even a Yankee fan will cry in his beer and tell you about bad situations they've went through. Seriously. Laker fans too. Cowboy fans. Patriot fans now. They'll all complain if you give them a chance. But yeah, that Blazer Bigs, tough one. Blue Mountain Auto Parts isn't. Downtown LeGrand, Monty Reed running this operation, your local Napa Auto Parts Center. Power tools, hand tools, professional shop equipment, great values, great sales, and a staff and a team down there that really knows what they're doing. You're going to have questions answered. Yes. It's not going to be like going out to the Mega Center. Hey, can you help me with this? Oh, boo. They don't even know. They missed that in the manual. They weren't even trained. That's never going to happen at Blue Mountain Auto Parts, okay? All team members down there, all trained, all well up to speed. They know what they sell. I'm telling you. And they sell what they know. I'm telling you. Blue Mountain Auto Parts, your local Napa Auto Parts dealer. Get down there on Jefferson next time you need them. I'm telling you, Blue Mountain Auto Parts. They're terrific at what they do down there. NFL schedule stuff. Any guesses on the schedule? Now we know for sure that the Bears and the Packers are going to open the season on that Thursday. Now we also know for sure that the Patriots are going to open the first Sunday night. Well, who are they going to open against? Well, I read an article on ESPN today, these schedule guessers going through all like the hot matchups, and there's some pretty good ones. I want to mention that. Also, Tony Romo. You really buy the fact that Romo will leave broadcasting if he doesn't get what he's going to get, what he's going to ask for? You really buy it? Well, Tony Romo, some interesting stuff going on with him. Could this be the last year Tony Romo's in the broadcasting booth? I say no. We'll talk about it.
You see and hear the name Knee-High Enterprises all the time. You see their vehicles driving and working throughout the Grand Ronde Valley every day. Located on 10th Street in Baker City, Knee-High Enterprises sells and installs garage doors and garage door openers and all types of windows and doors. Knee-High can take your logo and place it on a vehicle for your business. They create signs and banners for any type of event too. So let them help. Big enough for the big jobs, small enough to care. Knee-High Enterprises, over 40 years of experience.
Hello, this is Jan.
Hi, can I save on a new Toyota?
Yes, with great deals now through April 1st, you can ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
I can't wait to get out. I've been watching way too much TV.
Oh yeah? What's on?
Game show. Anyway, I got this list of things I want to do this spring.
Bet I could name them.
Really? Our contestant Jan here is risking it all on this final question. Name the 3 things I can't wait to do.
Go camping in a RAV4.
Correct.
Road trip in a Camry.
Yes.
How about take a Tundra fishing?
Ooh, 1 strike left, Jan.
I'll say off-roading in a Tacoma.
Show me off-roading in a Tacoma.
Oh, I can't believe it. Hi, Mom.
Toyota, let's go places.
Wherever your spring adventures take you, go there in a new Toyota. Get great limited time savings at your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
Every year, like clockwork, we get to experience history being made with March Madness. And every day, no matter the time of year, you can experience legendary refreshment with Pepsi. Pepsi has your favorites like Sierra Mist, Mug Root Beer, Mountain Dew, Kickstarts, Bang energy drinks, and of course, the timeless, refreshing taste of straight-up Pepsi. So kick back, drink up, and enjoy the 2019 Pepsi Bracket Challenge. Brought to you by Pepsi Cola Bottling Company of Eastern Oregon.
I can't do anything without you. Can't do anything with you. You drive me crazy, but I love you. You make me lazy, but I love you. I want to hate you, but then I kiss you. Want to kill you, but then I miss you. You drive me crazy, but I love you. You make me lazy, but I love you.
Ballgame show, bench warmers, pub and grill. I have a suggestion for the Alliance of American Football this hour. I'm going to suggest that. I think I can improve the AAF a little bit. So we'll do that a little later this hour. Krysten Peak with Yahoo Sports and Rivals.com will come on later this hour as well. A couple things we know about the schedule. I mean, you know who's playing who. You just don't know when yet. Schedule always comes out about a week before the draft. So put the draft, it's creeping on up. I love it. What are we? We're March 26th? Dude, the draft's in like a month. Let me get a big chucklehead high five from everybody. Hagalaga. NFL draft's in like a month. Heck yeah, dude. I love it. Anyway, just looking at potential opponents for the Patriots on that initial opening Sunday night game. I got one. And I know they're on their schedule. I know this team has to come to New England. So, I mean, we could wait on this, get a super sexy late year matchup, or, hey, we could get as sexy a early Sunday night game as we've had in a long time. I'm talking about the Cleveland Browns, yo. The Cleveland Browns play the New England Patriots this year in Foxborough. Why don't you just make that the opening Sunday night game? I read an article on this, ESPN.com, guessing the schedule, playing around with it a little bit. I'll tell you this, Seahawks fans, you are also in Cleveland this year. Seahawks at Browns, that has Sunday night written all over it. Russell Wilson, Baker Mayfield, 2 good teams, bring it. But dude, why don't we just go Browns, Patriots, week 1, Sunday night football? I mean, I'm in for that, aren't you? I mean, no team will be talked about more between today and week 1 than the Cleveland Browns. I think we all know that. The Patriots are doing their ring ceremony or whatever, their banner unveil. They let everybody see their 6th championship banner. Screw off. Why don't you send the new hot-to-trot Cleveland Browns team in? Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Hagalaga, Baker Mayfield, year 2. I mean, to me, you can't get bigger on Sunday night than, I can't believe I'm even saying this, but you can't get any bigger than the Cleveland Browns and the New England Patriots. Yeah, I'm actually saying that, and I'm actually believing myself. That's legit. Now, a lot of people are saying something else, and this makes sense too. This season is the 50th anniversary of Monday Night Football. Think about that. It's the 100th anniversary of the NFL, but it's also the 50th anniversary of MNF. Remember the first ever Monday Night Football game? Remember who was playing? Remember that one? 1970? It was the Browns, Cleveland, in Cleveland, hosting the Jets. Joe Willie Namath. Now, we also know this season that the Browns and the Jets are going to play. Now, this time it is in New York, so Cleveland will be the road team. Now, couldn't you see the NFL doing that on the 50th anniversary of Monday Night Football? They give you the original Monday night matchup, Browns-Jets, and this would be week 1. You know how in the NFL they do the week 1 Monday night doubleheader? This would be the opening game of that. Browns at Jets, Monday night, week 1, followed by, obviously, 2 Western teams. It would be like Chargers, Raiders, Rams, Niners, Seahawks, Niners, Cardinals, Rams, Cardinals, Niners, 2 Western teams, Broncos, whatever. But Jets, Browns on Monday night. Now, obviously, the sex appeal is better on Sunday against the Patriots. But heck, I can see the NFL doing both of those, couldn't you? I mean, I can see them going in both directions there. And I'll tell you, either or, those are pretty fun games. Baker Mayfield versus Sam Darnold. They already played this past year, if you remembered. They played on a Thursday night, didn't they? And I think Baker won that game. That was Jets-Browns, wasn't it? Did they play last year? I want to say they did because they both finished in last place in their division the year before. I think that was a Thursday nighter. Give me a call on the Farmers Insurance Hotline. Go see my boy Greg Blackman, 1430 Washington Avenue. Big sports fan. 3-time NAIA World Series champion for LCSC. Was a pitcher just like his son is now playing there. Greg and his staff, knowledgeable, friendly, helpful, extraordinary in customer service, motorcycle, home, renters, auto, business, umbrella policies, you name it. Farmers Insurance, Greg Blackman. Think that name and call our hotline, 963-4122. Krysten Peak, Rivals.com, Yahoo Sports, covers basketball as well as anyone we bring on here. Joins us next. Don't miss this.
It's time now for your local weather forecast. In the Grand tonight, mainly cloudy skies with a few rain showers overnight, low of 34 degrees. For tomorrow, considerable cloudiness with occasional rain and a high near 50. In Baker City tonight, cloudy skies with occasional rain showers too, low of 36 degrees. And by tomorrow, cloudy and breezy conditions with light rain expected and a high near 50. This weather forecast is brought to you by
Self-Service Furniture Warehouse. They have mattresses, huge king-size mattresses starting at just $5.99 with adjustable bases and pillow top options for the ultimate comfort. Great prices, selection, and variety. Shop at Self-Service Furniture Warehouse, east end of Adams in LeGrand.
If you're in the business of making your business better, a good place to start is with the lighting. Better lighting can make your workforce happier and more productive. Better lighting makes your workplace safer. And the right lighting can make your product look like $1 million. But perhaps the best reason to upgrade is the money you'll save. Just visit energytrust.org/mybusiness. You can connect with contractors, find incentives, and discover ways to make your business more profitable by making it more energy efficient.
It's a new season, and Ace Hardware Sporting Goods is here to get you ready. Ace is the ticket for the best turkey and bear hunting experience, with calls, camo, boots, and the best gun selections around. And springtime fisheries, they're always looking up when you first stock up at Ace. With great buys on rods, reels, and tackle, you can land the big one with big value. Only at Ace Hardware Sporting Goods. Stop in and get a jump on savings for spring outdoor sports at Thatcher's Ace Hardware in Baker City or LeGrand Ace Hardware in LeGrand.
Northwest Furniture and Mattress. Family owned and managed, full service and selection furniture and mattress headquarters. American made quality styles in bedroom, mattress, living, dining room, and recliner selections. Visit the Sleep Center for latex pillow tops and new technologies like new hybrid varieties, therapeutic mattresses, and more. You can't miss the big red rocking chair on the roof, and you can't miss the savings, financing, relaxation, and rest delivered to your home with Northwest Furniture and Mattress.
Who was your hero when you were a kid?
Whether it was Joe DiMaggio or Jackie Robinson,
Rosa Parks or Sally Ride,
Bogart or Brando,
you're just the right age to do something important that you can be remembered for.
Even if you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, or beyond, you can register to become an organ and tissue donor.
Surprised? You shouldn't be.
Today, people of all ages and even with health conditions can sign up to donate the gift of life.
And it's so important. Every age, every ethnicity is needed.
If we all signed up, imagine the lives we could save.
The families we could help.
So whether you admire John Wayne or James Dean, Robert Redford or Roberto Clemente,
Elvis Presley or Ella Fitzgerald, do something important that could make a real difference and change lives.
Get the facts today and register to become an organ donor.
Find out how at organdonor.gov. or call 1-866-99-DONATE.
A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
I'm here at the year's hottest stag pool party.
Put your antlers up!
Where? Some poor guy's backyard. These stags are bringing down the house. Seriously, deer are ripping holes in the pool cover. They're trampling patio furniture. And all the damage was covered, thanks to Farmers Insurance. Stag Pool Party, October 27th, 2014. Talk to a farmer's agent. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
See your local Farmers Insurance agent, Greg Blackman, in LeGrand. All right, welcome back. Johnny Ballgame Show, Bench Warmers, Pub and Grill. We're going to get back to March Madness here. Can't wait. Obviously, a gloomy Rose City today, gloomy state of Oregon, gloomy Rip City fan base with the tragedy with Yusuf Nurkic on court last night. 2 compound breaks in his leg, and tough goal for the Blazers, certainly with everything they had and the way they were playing, and just hope that Enes Kanter and the crew can pick up where Yusuf Nurkic left off a little bit and keep this season going. I want to get back to the college game, and got a couple of big guests coming up today. First is going to be Krysten Peak with Yahoo Sports and Rivals.com, and next hour we'll get to John Blanchette with the Spokesman Review in Spokane, covers the Zags like nobody else. We're excited to bring these on. Let's head on over to the Farmers Insurance Hotline. Krysten Peak, Yahoo Sports, Rivals.com, really does cover high school basketball recruiting in the college game, as well as anybody in the business for my money right now. She is in Atlanta, actually the city I was born in. Krysten, you are covering the annual McDonald's High School All-America game. What fun that is. Welcome to the show, Krysten, and how are the festivities so far in the ATL?
You know what? I didn't have very high hopes for this group, but they have been phenomenal. The coaches, I give it all to the coaches, the high school coaches that are coaching these guys. They're pushing them in practice because that's what the NBA scouts want to see. The NBA scouts are here in practice to try to look at the rosters in a couple of years and figure out which players they want. So it's been really, really good and fun.
Is the McDonald's All-America game, is it bigger now than it was 5-10 years ago, in your opinion? I mean, this thing has always been big, as you know, Krysten. If you're a McDonald's All-American, not a nominee, but if you're actually in the game, that means a whole heck of a lot. That stays with you the whole time. Talk about where it is right now, the game as a whole. Is it still a really big deal, Krysten?
It is still a huge deal. This is what every kid aspires to be, is a McDonald's All-American. You know, there's other games like the Jordan Brand Classic. I think Allen Iverson now has an all-star game.
Okay.
Hoop Summit, you know, that Nike puts on where it's USA versus the world. But everybody wants to be a McDonald's All-American. So when the players get here, they already know, like, this is such an honor. They know all the other players that I've played in before, and they're ready to go.
Krysten Peak, Yahoo Sports, so far from what you've seen with practice and whatnot, getting ready for this event, is there a particular player that's stolen the show, so to speak, on the men's side that's kind of the talk of the event right now? If so, Krysten, who would that be right now?
There's a couple. I mean, last year it was crazy because the two guys that stole the show were Kobe White and Naz Reid, both going to UNC. Zion was kind of white, or just kind of quiet. He actually broke his thumb in the game. And RJ Barrett was just, you know, RJ Barrett. We knew he was going to show out. And also there were a lot of kids or a lot of players that sat out last year. So this year there's only a couple of Vernon Carey's sitting out. He is going to Duke next year. We have him as the number one player in the country right now. He's sitting out with an injury. But I would say for me, Tyrese Maxey, he's a guard going to Kentucky next year. And Isaiah Stewart, oh my gosh, he's headed out your way, well, sort of the West Coast in Washington. I don't know anybody who's going to stop this guy in the Pac-12 next year.
Wow.
I literally, I rack my brain and I'm like, who's going to stop this kid?
Hey, Peaks,
so
he's going.
Really entertaining.
He's going to my Washington Huskies?
He is.
Oh, I love Krysten. I'm a Seattle boy. I don't know if you knew that or not, but yeah, that's going to be fun for that community there. Good stuff. Yes. And I want to get to some other stuff, Krysten. The Duke UCF game, and you know this Duke team so well because you follow kids that all end up stinking going to Duke. You probably got your mail outside Cameron Indoor Stadium, Krysten. You know all these guys. When you went back, you see that Duke UCF second round absolutely mega classic that it was. What were your thoughts on that game on Sunday evening? What a game, Krysten. Jeez.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, two things. One, that was a charge or an offensive foul. Two, RJ pushed him in the back to get that offensive board. Like, can we all just agree that happened? Because it did.
Okay.
Like, that is not up for discussion. But what UCF did is they exposed them. They exposed Duke for what they are. They, kind of sagged off Trey Jones and said, okay, shoot three. He missed. They got Zion in foul trouble, and they packed it in. And I think that's going to be the key for Virginia Tech. And they know that because they've already beat Duke earlier this year, but they did it without Zion. So we'll see what happens. But that game, that's what the tournament's about, coming down to that sort of wire shot.
It's just like Duke was going to lose, Peak, and we were just,
yes.
I mean, it was one of those games, Krysten, I couldn't sit on the couch anymore. I was standing in my living room.
No, you have to stand up. Exactly. Like, I was waiting to interview players, and I said, can you guys hold on? We got to finish this game. I'm sorry. We're not doing interviews right now.
Where were you in Atlanta during that game, Krysten?
Yes. We were over at the Hilton waiting to interview players. And another thing, like, how much did you want that for Taco Fall? I mean, hello, here's a guy who's been playing basketball there. His mom hasn't seen him in 7 years or something like that. Came over for senior night. Like, I wanted that moment for him.
I did too.
And I don't know.
Nah, it was a tough one. And I mean, Aubrey Dawkins, I mean, Coach K's like his grandpa.
I know.
It's like his grandpa. I mean, he grew up at Cameron with Coach K and his dad, obviously. Like, all the little add-ons to that game. And, second most watched tournament game in that time slot. Since the expanded format, and obviously the whole country was watching that, and they got a nice treat there, everybody. Krysten Peak, a contributor with Rivals and Yahoo Sports, does an excellent job. She's on our Farmers Insurance hotline right now, live from Atlanta, covering the McDonald's All-America game. It's a tourney full of chalk. Obviously, my folks are happy in Oregon. Certainly not a Cinderella. Krysten, you've seen the Duck Athletic Department and everything they have to work with. They just shot themselves in the foot early on this year with Bull, but here they are still there. Auburn gets in as a 5 seed. Other than that, Krysten, as you know, it's all 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds. Talk about what you think the remaining 16 teams. I kind of like it this year. There's no Loyola Chicago. There's no VCU or Georgia George Mason really kind of is the big boys. Auburn's a big boy, and I think Oregon, even though they're a 12 seed, Krysten, you know, they're big boys too. Talk about who's left.
Oh, yeah. Oregon, I mean, I think the last time I was on, I was saying Pac-12's trash. Just wait till next year. Let's move on. And then here comes Oregon winning 9 straight, and they're on a roll. And what Dana Altman has been able to get from that group of players is just coaching. It's 101. Like, it's unbelievable. Peyton Pritchard leading that team. We see good minutes from Luke King. He's been like nothing this whole season. And all of a sudden, tournament time, he's scoring 13, 14, 15 points each game. So I don't know what's going on with Oregon. This whole thing with the investigation with the Michael Avenatti and Nike case is a little bit of a distraction for them, and we'll see how they push through it because, you know, with Bol Bol on the team and how that affects, if they continue to win, how that will affect their tournament streak, you know, if they're going to have to take those back. Who knows? It's probably a little bit of distraction, but that is going to be a fun game for sure. I also really like this LSU-Michigan State game because you got two great guards in Cassius Winston and Tremont Waters. They're like, court vision is ridiculous. And then you got a battle down low with Nick Ward and Naz Reid. And so that game I'm going to be watching a lot too. LSU, again, without their head coach.
Yeah, and I mean, look at the Zags with Florida State. This is the Florida State team that knocked them out of this very round last year, Krysten Peak. What a fun rematch that's going to be in Anaheim. We'll see how many the Tallahassee faithful are going to make that far of a trip. But, you know, there's going to be a lot of Zags fans there, Krysten.
Oh, man, that game's going to – this is like Mark Hughes' like dream, you know, getting a second chance at a team. And Chris Kimoji and I can't even say his last name, versus Hashimura. Like, I don't think there's a more efficient team than Gonzaga this year. And I think they're going to get their redemption for sure. I have the Zags winning this one. It's going to be close, but I've got them winning. And fun fact, did you know Hashimura, you know how he learned to speak English? Was through, he came to the States, didn't know any English at all, and he just watched Netflix all the time. And that's how he learned English.
It was from Netflix.
I learned that last week.
It was from Netflix. Yeah. I love it. He's a heck of a player, and he's easily going to be the first Japanese-born person to get drafted into the NBA, which is going to be great for him and that whole deal with what Mark Few's got going. Just unreal there. Krysten, you're all over the country. Your travel miles, I can't even imagine what they are. What's Krysten Peak's schedule? I know this weekend you're in Atlanta, correct? And then do you go, and then so you'll just meet everybody in Minnesota the following weekend? I imagine you'll be up for the Final Four?
That's correct. I'll be there at the Final Four. Hopefully no snow. Let's be nice, Minnesota. Keep your winters to yourself, please.
I know, right? Get out of here, Minnesota. It's April now. Stop with this snow stuff. Krysten, a lot of people are looking at the LeVar Ball situation. And I know you've I don't want to say you're close with the Barr family, but you're in that area, and I know you're close to a lot of the situations, and you covered Lonzo, you covered Jello, you covered this whole situation, Krysten. A lot of people are saying in your face right now with LeVar Ball and serves you right and should have had it coming. I don't know if that's fair or not. I feel for Lonzo, and I didn't realize he owned 51% of the Big Baller Brand company. $1.5 million taken from the Big Baller Brand from their partner, a person who was in prison previously for money laundering and this thing, and they didn't, I guess, investigate it further enough. A really tough situation going on for the Ball family. I'm not trying to get people to feel sorry for these guys because a lot of people just don't, and that's they're doing partially for this, but just your take on it. Big Baller Brand looks like it's in a whole heap of trouble right now, Krysten.
Yeah, I mean, all right. A lot of people look at LeVar and they're like, he's a genius. Look how he's marketing his sons. Oh my gosh, the next best thing for basketball. That's what it was in the beginning. You know,
Wow.
like he tells Christine Leahy, stay in your lane, and then the next day has shirts that say stay in your lane on the Big Baller Brand website. But the problem is he didn't know how to run a business, and he's trusting the wrong people. And this is what happens at this grassroots level. People get in early, you think you trust them, and then they just run everything without any sort of knowledge for the family. They're like, okay, let's sign this. Okay. And then they have their manager, like this guy Demo, who was, I don't know if he still is Lonzo's manager, was seen throwing down a pair of Big Baller Brand shoes down his trash chute. So
Yeah.
pretty sure that relationship is severed, and everything else with that. Like, it's sad that they had to hit rock bottom like this to learn their lesson, and maybe they had it coming, as people say. But I never wish bad karma on anybody, and it's just it's a bad situation. Especially like I don't know. I feel
Krysten,
for families.
Yeah, what did what did he do for I got a couple things, because again, you're fairly close to this situation on this. You talk to more high school basketball players at elite level. You've probably talked to every single 5-star high school kid in this class. Do they wear big baller brand gear? Do they like it? Do they support it? Are they fans of LeVar and Lonzo? Krysten, you know these Yahoo kids right now. They're too young for me, man. You talk to these guys. Is big baller brand bitchin', or does it ever rarely get brought up?
It never gets brought up. Let me tell you this. The day that they announced Lonzo was going to have his own shoe, big baller brand shoe, right? Jello's in this All His Life, All-American game. This is back when he was a senior in high school, wearing Nikes. He's wearing a pair of Kyrie's, right? So clearly, like, they're not all in on this big baller brand. I've never seen a kid wear any of their shoes.
You have never?
I've never seen a kid wear... Never, ever, ever. I've never seen a kid wear anything outside of Nike and Adidas. I've never seen a kid wear Pumas, and they put all that money into the draft last year with DeAndre Ayton, Marvin Bagley, Michael Porter, and none of the kids are wearing that stuff.
Under Armour?
Oh, yeah, Under Armour, for sure. Sorry, they're like the redheaded stepchild. I just forget about them.
Krysten Peak, Yahoo Sports, Rivals.com. Love bringing her on the show. Yeah, I just thought it was an interesting deal there. Looks like Big Brawler brand in major trouble. And so you're saying, like, and those were the kids it was marketing, Krysten. Young high school kids, basketball players. That's who they wanted to wear their gear. And you said you've been to every stinking AAU tournament in the country, and you never saw one kid stinking wear any type of Big Baller brand anything? Not even the $400 sliders, Krysten? Those must have been really cool sliders.
Not a single player. You know where I did see a Big Baller brand shirt, though?
Where?
I was in Iceland running the Reykjavik half marathon, and I saw a Big Baller brand shirt. I'm like, are you kidding me? How are we in Iceland and LeVar Ball is like in my face with this?
I love it, Krysten Peak. Now, before I get you out here, I wanted to talk a little bit on the Michael Avenatti report. Here's a big shot, hot shot attorney trying to flex his muscles with Nike, saying, hey, I got information on you for paying these kids, and unless you fork over, you cut me a check, hey, I'm gonna rat you out. Nike ends up busting him for blackmail and extortion. I don't know if it was you guys at Yahoo who initially reported this or not. I know you guys wrote about it at Yahoo. I wrote it yesterday. Tell me what you know on this, because there are Oregon implications here. The Ducks are tied to this story, Krysten?
Yeah. Oh, man. This story has so many layers. Let me just start with this.
Yeah.
Dan Wetzel, my coworker, he had a tweet yesterday, and this is so great. And it says, let me pull it up. My entire career has been building to the point I got to cover the story of an attorney for a porn star getting indicted for extorting Nike over alleged payments via an AAU coach to a high school basketball player. And it's like, that's how crazy it is. So let's just go layer by layer, right? Okay, yesterday he's arrested for extortion and demanding Nike pay him up to $25 million to keep his mouth shut, right?
Okay.
So he's arrested, he puts that tweet out, and then he's released this morning on $300K bail. And then he just starts tweeting right away, like saying, I didn't ask them for anything. Nike says otherwise. And then he calls out DeAndre Ayton and Bol being involved. So then anybody who's in grassroots basketball, you're like, oh, okay, those two players, they played for Cal Supreme. Who owns Cal Supreme, which is the EYBL team in California? Gary Franklin. So both those guys played on that program. So now everyone knows that this guy, Gary Franklin, is Avenatti's client, right? So then Oregon releases a statement saying they are unaware of any evidence that would support this claim, and they did like a diligent job last summer looking into the amateurism of their student athletes. Okay, whatever. And then today I was at the McDonald's practice, and I saw a grassroots Nike guy, and I went up to him and I said, wow, I'm surprised you're here, showing your face. They're letting you talk to people.
Yeah.
And he says, and he goes, I'm not losing sleep over this. But then his boss, who's the head of Nike Grassroots, Carlton DeBose, is named as the person that's like giving these kids money, right? So here's the deal. Did Nike pay these kids? Probably. Did Avenatti try to extort Nike for money? Probably. So there's yes and yes to each story, but the thing that is really going to be interesting is how deep is this going to go? Do you know what I mean? Are they really going to go so deep to look into Bull, to look into DeAndre, to look into Brandon McCoy, went to UNLV, who Oregon was also a Final Two school for him. And if Avenatti is found guilty on all charges, he faces up to 97 years in prison.
Damn.
So,
that's a big...
this story has so many ways it can go. And this is just a little glimpse into the crazy world that I'm in on the grassroots side.
She's Krysten Peak. She's with Yahoo Sports, contributor for Rivals. Again, one of the best in the business, rising star here. Love bringing her on. Krysten, before I get you out of here, you're down in the L.A. area. I want my Pac-12 hoops back. I think that's contingent upon UCLA stinking cleaning its diaper down there. Who's a good fit, in your opinion, for what maybe you're hearing, grassroots level, stuff like that? Who'd be a good fit in Westwood? Krysten, the Pac-12 needs UCLA not only to be in the tournament every year, but be a top 1, 2, 3, 4 seed every year. How are they going to fix this thing and get the right coach in there? Who do you think it is?
Gosh, I've heard everyone from Matt Painter from Purdue, but now that he's in the Sweet 16, I don't know if he'll leave to go. Scott Drew is also a name that I've heard. I've also heard, well, this was before he re-signed his contract, that Hopkins from Washington was going to come down to UCLA and then bring his recruits to the program. And then, there was this rumor flying around that Calipari was interested in the job, but then he tweeted out that he's finishing his career, he's going to retire at Kentucky. So they're obviously putting feelers out there for the heavy hitters. I mean, we already know when we look at the coaching changes, Buzz Williams is probably going to take the Texas A&M job for sure. And then it's okay, well then does Shaka Smart leave Texas to take V-Tech and go back to the East Coast? Okay. Because that's really where his bread and butter is. So the whole summer is just going to be coaches here, coaches here, coaches here, and I don't know, but I do know that UCLA has the capability. It's a very sought-after job for coaches. They want to be in Southern California, and I think they'll eventually find someone.
Yes or no? Is Rick Pitino coaching Division I men's basketball next year?
I don't think next year. I think he has a 3-year contract with the Greece team over where he's currently at, but he's got so much money. He could easily come back, but until his lawsuit is settled with Louisville, I don't think he can come back and coach basketball. I think that has to be settled first before he can enter the college game again. Will he coach eventually? I definitely think so, 100%.
Krysten, enjoy the McDonald's All-America game this weekend. We'll all be watching, and have safe travels up to Minneapolis. Hopefully there's no snow for you in Minneapolis and St. Paul for the Final Four, and hopefully down the road I'll hit you up here in a few weeks or something, give you a break of the ball game show, but we'll bring you on here a few weeks down the road, and continued success, my friend.
Thank you, Johnny. Anytime. I promise you, I'd love this.
I love it too. Great stuff, Krysten. See you later. Krysten Peak, Yahoo Sports, contributor for Rivals.com. Again, covering the McDonald's All-America game this week for Yahoo. That's a pretty good job, right? Yeah, sorry, Krysten. We're gonna fly you to Atlanta this week, cover the high school kids, McDonald's All-American, talk to NBA scouts all day. And oh yeah, by the way, when you're done with that, Krysten, we're gonna go ahead from Yahoo. We're gonna fly you up to Minneapolis, and you're gonna cover the Final Four for us. Good gig, man. Ballgame show, Benchwarmers Pub and Grill.
Hi, this is Rudy Maxa. Join me along with Robert and Mary Carey each Saturday on this station as we talk to the travel newsmakers, share insights and tips, and experience the world together on America's #1 travel radio show.
Super Talk Radio is your home for Rudy Maxa's World with the Careys, Saturday afternoons, brought to you by Baker Garage on Washington in historic downtown Baker City, and online at bakercitygmsales.com. It's time now for a community calendar update. Grand Ronde Hospital is inviting everyone to take part in the 2019 Union County Health Status event on Tuesday, April 2nd at the Blue Mountain Conference Center in LeGrand. From 8 to 10:30 a.m., attend this event to add your voice on what local residents think Union County's most pressing health concerns are. This event is sponsored by Grand Ronde Hospital's Community Benefits Subcommittee and the Hospital Council of Northwest Ohio. For more information, visit grh.org. The Meals on Wheels program in Union County is in need of volunteers to deliver meals to seniors at their homes. The time investment is only about 2 hours per week. If you're interested in helping out, stop by the Community Connection of Union County office at 1504 North Albany Street in LeGrand or call 541-963-7532. This community calendar update is brought to you by LeGrand Gold and Silver, family-owned and managed, and your trusted local experts for fine jewelry and precious metals. Shop LeGrand Gold and Silver's full line of quality jewelry, gifts, and coins.
Get wicked.
Appreciate Krysten Peak there on the Farmers Insurance Hotline. You give us a call, 541-963-4122. In about 15 minutes, we'll head on over again, Farmers Insurance Hotline, John Blanchette. This guy's been covering Gonzaga basketball as long as anybody for the Spokesman Review. That's the big newspaper in Spokane. I've met him throughout our years in the business. He's been coming on my shows, talking Gonzaga basketball for several years. Nobody does it better than John Blanchette. Knows what he's doing, covers the Zags, again, as well as anyone. And he's in L.A., I believe, right now, getting ready for the Sweet 16 there, Gonzaga, Florida State on Thursday. Gonna be a good one. I got AAF, the Alliance, and I'm a believer in you. I watch your games. I mean, I had a buddy over this weekend. He hasn't seen any AAF action this year. And hasn't been watching anything. But he also doesn't have 3 TVs in his living room like your boy Ballgame. So I always got the 3 TVs going, okay? You know, I got the NCAA tournament games on. What if there's only 2? And if I have an open TV, if there's an Alliance game on, I put it on. The Alliance of American Football gets a lot of play at my house. And I was just thinking about it like this. Say, what is it, Tuesday? Say there was a game on tonight on an NFL Network or CBS Sportsnet. Like AAF. And I like it. You have your games on Saturday and Sunday. That's cool. I like it. I like how it's both days. But, dude, have a midday, have a midweek game. Have Tuesday night AAF football. Like, if there is a football game on tonight, Johnny Manziel, say, is starting in it, I'm going home and I'm going to watch it. I'm going to have it on at least. Give yourself the best coverage you can. Play on exotic days. I'm all for it. Here's the newsies.
Serving Eastern Oregon for over 75 years. This is KLBM LeGrand and KBKR Baker City. Super Talk Radio, the talk of Eastern Oregon.
The Russia probe? No veto override. I'm Ann Cates. The Justice Department plans to make the Mueller report public within a matter of weeks. House Democrats have failed to overturn President Trump's veto of a resolution blocking his declaration of a national emergency.
The president issued the veto after lawmakers rebuked his effort to take funds not appropriated by Congress to build a border wall. Democrat Gerald Nadler said the emergency declaration was a sham.
President Trump's invention of a so-called national emergency to suit his political goals and to get around Congress' refusal of a funding request is intolerable.
And while Democrats also discussed defending the Constitution's separation of powers, Republican Sam Graves said the president is defending the nation.
There is a crisis at the border.
The vote of 248 to 181 fell short of the two-thirds majority needed to override the president's veto. Lindy Kenyon, Capitol Hill.
Prosecutors in Chicago have dropped charges against Empire actor Jussie Smollett, upsetting police and the mayor in that town. Correspondent Ryan Young.
There was a 16-count indictment. That went to a grand jury. So a grand jury sat there, listened to the testimony from these two brothers, the Osendero brothers, and they thought strongly enough to move forward with those 16 charges. This didn't happen in a vacuum.
Palestinian witnesses say Israeli aircraft are striking Hamas militant targets in the southern Gaza Strip. The The late-night strikes tonight followed a rocket launch from Gaza that set off air raid sirens in southern Israel and sent residents rushing to bomb shelters before the rocket fell in open ground. There was no immediate comment from the military. The Federal Aviation Administration says a Southwest Airlines Boeing 737 MAX jet made a safe emergency landing in Orlando after experiencing an apparent engine problem. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 141 points, the S&P up 20, the NASDAQ up 54. I'm Ann Cates.
Texting enrolls for alerts and offers via automatic text message. Message and data rates may apply.
Has dinner got you down? Sick of awful frozen meals or unhealthy fast food? Don't despair, because Martha Stewart is doing a free taste test, giving away 3 full-sized meals from her new meal kit delivery service, Martha and Marley Spoon. All fresh ingredients with Martha's delicious and easy recipes. You're eating in just 30 minutes. To be part of Martha's at-home taste test and get 3 free meals, be one of the first 100 people to text the word FEED to 246810. It's so easy. Text us now. Martha and Marley Spoon meals are easy, simple, and delicious. And right now, Martha wants you to enjoy 3 of her best 30-minute meals for free, so you can save time and enjoy eating dinner again. To be part of Martha's at-home taste test and get your 3 free meals, be one of the first 100 people to text FEED to 246810. That's FEED to 246810. FEED to 246810.
It's time now for your local weather forecast. In the Grand tonight, mainly cloudy skies with a few rain showers overnight, low of 34 degrees. For tomorrow, considerable cloudiness with occasional rain and a high near 50. In Baker City tonight, cloudy skies with occasional rain showers too, low of 36 degrees. And by tomorrow, cloudy and breezy conditions with light rain expected and a high near 50. This weather forecast is brought to you by
Grand Ronde Hospital. Since 1907, our #1 mission has been to serve the community we all love. Thank you for placing your trust in us.
Grand Ronde Hospital.
Hello, this is Jan.
Hi, can I save on a new Toyota?
Yes, with great deals now through April 1st, you can ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
I can't wait to get out. I've been watching way too much TV.
Oh yeah? What's on?
Game show. Anyway, I got this list of things I want to do this spring.
Bet I could name them.
Really? Our contestant Jan here is risking it all on this final question. Name the 3 things I can't wait to do.
Go camping in a RAV4.
Correct.
Road trip in a Camry.
Yes.
How about take a Tundra fishing?
Ooh, 1 strike left, Jan.
I'll say off-roading in a Tacoma.
Show me off-roading in a Tacoma.
Oh, I can't believe it. Hi, Mom.
Toyota, let's go places.
Wherever your spring adventures take you, go there in a new Toyota. Get great limited time savings at your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care. I ever get back, so let's root for the home team. They don't win, it's a shame. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
The Johnny Ballgame Show.
All right, welcome back. 5 o'clock, hour number 3 officially underway. Can't wait. We're loaded this hour. Sweet 16 talk. The 19-year anniversary of the largest at the time concrete structure in the world blowing up the kingdom. We'll talk about that and some NFL schedule stuff if we have time to get to for our Ace Hardware finale. But first, let's head on over to the Farmers Insurance Hotline. This guy, as I was saying earlier, does a terrific job. I mean, he's covered the Gonzaga basketball team before they were cool. He's with the Spokesman Review, which is the big paper up in Spokane. Does a terrific job. He's John Blanchette joining us right now. John, here you are. The travel itinerary for you covering the Zags all these years has taken you, all over the country and then some. L.A. this weekend, huh? Covering the Zags in Anaheim?
Yeah, over here in Orange County, and just a hop and a skip from Disneyland, and looking forward to it. Should be an interesting matchup for Gonzaga again.
Yep.
Chance, another crack at Florida State. And, and I'm sure they're ready for it. I think they've been actually probably chewing on this one for a year now.
John, 5 straight Sweet 16s. The only team that can say that is the Gonzaga Bulldogs, not Duke, not Michigan State, John, not anybody. You covered this tournament a long time in Gonzaga where there was that run there where they weren't getting to the Sweet 16 every year anymore. And just for you to see 5 in a row, what that says about the current state of this program, John, probably never been as good as it is right now. Is that fair?
Oh, I think that's very fair to say. The program has gotten nothing but better, and now to put together this run of 5 consecutive Sweet 16s, one of those, of course, included a Final Four, another one included an Elite 8. It's really remarkable, and what makes it remarkable, and I wrote about this week, is that, like you say, it's the longest current streak, but there's only really 3 other streaks in history that are comparable or better. Duke had a couple of 9 and 7, and North Carolina had a long run of 13. But even back in the days of UCLA, those UCLA teams didn't have to win a game sometimes to get to a Sweet 16. There were only 25 teams in the tournament.
Yeah.
This one requires some, an accomplishment now. And they were a top seed this year, and they've been a top seed another time in this streak. But you still got to win the games. And they've done that, and the consistency's just been spectacular.
What do you think were the takeaways from the St. Mary's loss? Most coaches will always tell you a loss is never a good thing. That's for the media folk to say, hey, maybe they can learn from this loss. It can be a good, a slap to the face or whatever, a sobering experience. John Blanchette, Spokesman Review. Where were your takeaways from that loss against St. Mary's in the WCC tournament championship?
Well, I never really know how to gauge that, except I do go back to 2017 when Gonzaga lost its regular season finale against BYU, and during that NC2A tournament run, to a man, those players of that team said that loss did kind of crystallize what they needed to do moving forward. Now they had a little more time to I guess, rally from that. That was the end of the regular season. They kind of got their mojo back during the WCC tournament. This one, they had some practice time, but they didn't have a game to really get them rolling because it was their last game of the WCC tournament. I think there was some of that effect. I really do think that they needed to see there'd been some complacency in some certain areas. Their attention to detail, Mark Q likes to talk about that all the time, was certainly not there. But I also think they hadn't been in a close game forever.
Yeah.
And they didn't really know how to respond. Well, they're going to have to know how to respond here in the NC2A tournament. And I think that was maybe more than anything else the message that was delivered.
I would imagine all teams have weaknesses. I mean, certainly Duke with its three-point shooting, that's been well documented the entire season. If you were to kind of poke there at Gonzaga and say, well, their biggest weakness is this. You've seen every dribble of the ball this year with this team, John, and covered them. What would you say that biggest weakness would be for this Gonzaga team?
Rebounding. Really on both ends to a certain extent, but certainly sometimes on the defensive end in keeping people off the offensive glass. You've got two spectacular, well now three that Killian Tilly's back, but you've got you've got three spectacular front court players there. But they are, the two starters are 6'8", and you're facing, especially in this case against Florida State, a team that's very, very big and very long, and that starts up front with a 7'4" guy and goes all the way to the backcourt. They have had, when they've had their troubles, North Carolina comes to mind particularly, it's been with teams that have maybe a little bit better size and with some skill attached. And I think that's what you're going to see tomorrow, see on Thursday with Florida State. That team's going to present some problems there, and that's an area that I know the Zags were vulnerable to that against St. Mary's, which was surprising. Because they have better athletes up front than St. Mary's does. But I know it's been a point of emphasis in practice, and real conscious effort's going to have to be made on the glass to Gonzaga to pull through there. But that's, I think, more than anything else. I think their defense has really come along strong. It's certainly not as good as it was in 2017, but in some ways they're a little more versatile. So I'd say rebounding is the one weak spot.
John, I don't know if I've seen a Zag perform better in an NCAA tournament game than I saw Brandon Clark versus Baylor. Holy smokes, man. Absolutely fantastic performance on both ends of the floor. The efficiency numbers. And here's a kid from San Jose State. I think he was about 140 pounds soaking wet coming out of Arizona there in high school. Did Mark Few and his staff have any inclination whatsoever going into this year that they might only have Brandon Clark for 1 year and that he's going to go be a lottery pick at the season's end? Talk to me about the whole Brandon Clark situation in Spokane, because the whole country, I feel, got to see him last week, and the whole country obviously very thoroughly impressed.
And Mark Few and his staff were impressed through Brandon's redshirt year last season. They knew that they were getting something special.
Okay.
I don't know that they necessarily thought that he would make the giant strides that he has. When he came to Gonzaga, he had a terrible shot. He was a very inefficient offensive player, and maybe more efficient than he actually was, because he didn't go out and try anything from farther than about 3 feet away. He has totally remade his shot, and so now he's got a little dip that he can go out mid-range and do that, and even occasionally step out to 3, although he doesn't do it much. But his delivery now is much smoother. His footwork has always been terrific, and I think that's probably maybe the key to that, and the enormous jumping ability really is kind of the key to Brandon Clark's success here and his evolution here at Gonzaga. No, I don't think they saw him, making the kind of jump he made necessarily, but they knew they were getting a pretty special thing. And in fact, I believe they saw it in practice last year, at least on the other end of the floor, because Jonathan Williams had a heck of a time getting a shot off against him in practice.
John Blanchette, columnist, covers the Gonzaga basketball program for the Spokesman Review. Read his stuff. Follow him on Twitter. A couple other things. Just the community's continued relationship, love affair with the Gonzaga basketball program. Like I said before, John, you were kind of there before the Zags were cool, before they were just a name on the John Stockton basketball card. Like a lot of me, just growing up, that's all we knew of Gonzaga. You've been in that community a long time. Just talk about the relationship that community has with this team. And is it even bigger now than it was 10 years ago? And it was crazy 10 years ago, too, John.
I think in some respects, and I think this run right now has something to do with it, the fact that they are going into the second weekend again, the fact that they did go to the Final Four. There was always, even in Spokane, there were critics, about them not going deep enough into the tournament consistently.
Yeah.
And certainly not to the Final Four. I mean, there's always going to be those kind of skeptics and the backlash group that will never be believers. And so, I think that has kind of mostly gone away. Will never completely go away until actually win a national championship. But I do think it's stronger than ever. But there's also an element too. I think they're a little spoiled. I think you see it in the attendance at some of the games. Every game's a quoted sellout, but some of the student attendance has lagged at times this year.
Wow.
See for the games that don't mean a lot to them. Maybe the Loyolas or the Portlands or things like that, where you see not all the student tickets get taken. And I just think that there's an element there that. There's a little spoilage going on that some people may want to take a look at that, because I know there are other people in the community who would love to go to these games.
Oh yeah, post Mark Few, in your opinion, does this program still roll? I mean, is it still Gonzaga to a certain level? When Few does leave, whoever gets this gig, how good a gig is he getting there? We've seen certain teams, John, you lose that big name coach, the program is never the same again. Well, what do you think Gonzaga is going to be like when and if Mark Few decides to hang it up?
Well, I think timing is going to be the issue there, and where the program is when Mark does decide to leave. I can't imagine any massive slippage in this program as long as he's in charge. Now, right now, if he leaves, the job belongs to Tommy Lloyd, his number one assistant. And I think if that's the case, I think the program will be just fine. Continuity is important, whether it's necessarily the same guy or the people who have been in been in the program and have been the guys maybe behind the scenes a little bit responsible for its success. I think Tommy will be a terrific head coach. I think he's matured just fine under Mark here at Gonzaga. He's not just a recruiter by any means. He's the lead scout on their biggest games. He's a guy. He's a tactician as well, and he understands the game inside and out. I think he'll be just fine, and he knows. And he's got the soul of the program in his DNA. He knows what's going on and what it takes to continue. Now, things can change. Who knows what happens in the next, say, 5 years or 10 years? I don't know when Mark has an idea of when he's going to hang it up. And things could definitely change. You don't know what the college basketball landscape looks like. But I think just going on where it is now and say if it happened tomorrow, I think Gonzaga would be just fine.
Now, leave you with this, John. There were rumors last year about, possible Mountain West membership on a basketball-only level here and there. In your opinion, do they need to leave the WCC? It doesn't seem like they do, John.
Well, I don't know. Need to? At this point, no. I think Mark has always been concerned about things like when the Big East, the private schools that split off from the old Big East and became the original Big East again. I think he thought, maybe those kinds of schools get away, especially with Creighton joining that group, Butler joining that group. The problem is geography works against Gonzaga massively. There's just really no place for it to go in the West. And I think, unless there's a real, maybe the Mountain West 5 years ago might have been a little more enticing.
Good point.
That was a great basketball league 5 years ago.
Good point.
Right now, not so much. Not any better than the WCC if you really look at it. So I don't think they need to go. But again, who knows what the landscape looks like in college basketball? How much more conference realignment there might be? How much there might be a shakeup in how the NC2A administers the Power 5, Power 6 conferences, or lets them administer themselves. It's really hard to say. But at this point, no, I don't think there's any reason that they absolutely need to go.
John Blanchette with the Spokesman Review. Love your coverage. Always appreciate you coming on. And hopefully, John, for your sake, you'll be able to trade in those shorts and that Tommy Bahama T-shirt for a parka and some snow boots in a week if you travel to cover the Final Four that the Zags are participating in Minneapolis. John, hopefully we can talk to you down the road. Always appreciate you coming on our show, John.
Hey, my pleasure.
Good stuff, man. John Blanchette does a terrific job covering the Gonzaga basketball program. And, he's in L.A. right now, man. He's in Orange County. It's 77 degrees, 81 degrees where he is right now, just getting ready to cover a Gonzaga basketball practice. If the Zags can win a couple games in L.A. this weekend, he's off to Minneapolis, man, to cover the Zags in the Final Four. Yeah, beat writers get good gigs, man. I've talked to a ton of them, especially if you cover a team like Gonzaga. For a newspaper like the Spokesman Review, they pay for him to go everywhere. Wherever the Zags go, he goes. And if I would imagine, if I'm covering Gonzaga, think where you get to go. Okay, you go to Portland, cool town. You go to the Bay Area for St. Mary's and Santa Clara. Yeah, great area there. You go to L.A. for, Loyola Marymount and Pepperdine and Malibu. Pepperdine is in Malibu. I mean, that's good work if you can get it. Yeah, you got to spend some time in Provo. Okay, yeah, whatever. It can be nice. But, I mean, just covering Gonzaga basketball like he does in all the big non-con games they play, Gonzaga plays in a mega Thanksgiving weekend tournament every year. He's there. And you get to say, you know what, there's a good chance I'm going to get to cover this team for a couple of weekends in March for the tournament. Oh, and by the way, let me throw in Las Vegas for the annual conference tournament, which Gonzaga is there for 3 days because they're always in the championship of it. That's good work, dude. That's fun travel, man. Goss Motors, appreciate everybody involved there. New 2019 lineup is selling, and we love it, and we appreciate it. So get down there and see what's on the lot. Tell them to give you the darn keys. I'll let you test drive that sucker. Buy your next vehicle from MJ Goss Motors in downtown LeGrand. It's a different vehicle purchasing process. You will learn that from the second you step in the showroom. Go see the Shermanator, man. McCandy, Goss, their whole crew down there willing to help at MJ Goss Motors since 1922. Quick, friendly service. They do a terrific job. Big fan of the crew at MJ Goss Motors. Yeah, 19 years ago today, my childhood blew up. Man, we'll talk some memories there. Don't go anywhere. Ballgame Show.
Self-Service Furniture Warehouse and Courtesy Home Furnishings are your complete home furniture stores. Stop into one of their beautiful showrooms and find a never-ending selection, plus superior service and unmatched value. They've made it easy to get the finest quality furniture for your home. When you want a look that's perfect, when you want the traditional look of beauty, look to Self-Service Furniture Warehouse and Courtesy Home Furnishings. They have a full selection of living room sets, bedroom sets, and dining room sets. Just about anything you could need to make any room of your home look and feel beautiful. Self-Service Furniture Warehouse and Courtesy Home Furnishings have the style that fits any home, any room, anytime. From the bedroom to the living room. Free delivery and 12-month interest-free financing available for purchases of $299 or more on approved credit. Come see what you've been missing. Self-Service Furniture Warehouse, east end of Adams in LeGrand, and Courtesy Home Furnishings, 2170 Main in Baker City.
Grumpy's Repair in Baker City should be the first place you take your vehicle regardless of the issue, and here's why. Grumpy's provides professional quality service by trained professionals using only the best quality replacement parts. In fact, every auto technician that works for Grumpy's is certified by the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence. And JR, better known as Grumpy, wouldn't have it any other way. When you use the best techs and the best in quality replacement parts, you end up with the best service. Grumpy's Repair in Baker City.
Life insurance is one of those subjects that make people want to change the subject rather than admit they probably don't have enough. That's why State Farm agent Nate Conklin focuses on how the benefits of life insurance actually live on by asking people to think in terms of life without having to sell the house, insurance, or life without having to give up college. Find out how the benefits of life insurance can live on for your family. Call State Farm agent Nate Conklin in LeGrand at 541-963-0929 and put the life back in life insurance.
Attention, Rip City. The Portland Trail Blazers are once again contending for a playoff spot in the Western Conference. Follow your favorite team every game on Super Talk Radio, 1450 AM in LeGrand and 1490 in Baker City. Stop missing the action and come pick up a free Blazers pocket schedule at Pacific Empire Radio in LeGrand on Cove Avenue. Trailblazers basketball on Super Talk Radio is brought to you in part by Dream Builders Contracting and LeGrand Auto Repair.
We were rolling down this road in
Anbar Province.
3 personnel carriers
with 16 of us on board.
All of a sudden,
there's a huge explosion.
We knew right away
it was an IED. The first vehicle
got wasted, and those guys took
a huge hit.
Then we started taking
sniper fire and RPGs from the hills.
In today's military, women face the same dangers as men.
It's pretty amazing.
We made it out alive.
But when they come home, women veterans confront a whole different set of challenges, like unique healthcare issues, or not receiving respect or even acknowledgement for serving in harm's way. DAV understands the problems women veterans face, and we can help. Many DAV advisors are female veterans. They've been there, and they're ready to provide expert guidance. DAV fights to get you the health, disability, and financial benefits you were promised and earned. If you're a veteran, visit DAV.org for free help.
The current Northeast Oregon road conditions are as follows. On I-84, there are no road closures to report at this time. Clear roads are being reported in the Meacham and Cabbage Hill area, as well as the Ladd Canyon and Baker City areas, too. There is a minimum chain restriction in effect, though. You are required to carry chains or traction tires regardless of current conditions. For more road condition updates, stay tuned throughout the day or visit...
Get wicked!
We'll do some fill in the blank in about 10 minutes. Ace Hardware finale tonight as well. Bears Packers in the NFL opener. I also wanted to get to some Tony Romo stuff. Maybe I'll save that for the Ace Hardware finale. There's a report out there that Tony Romo was telling CBS, I want $10 million a year. And he gonna get it. If not from CBS, can anybody think of another nationally televised football enterprise that's in trouble right now? Say Monday Night Football. You don't think ESPN would pay $10 million a year to put Romo on Monday night? They were paying $8-9 million a year for Gruden. They'd pay 10 for Romo. Monday Night Football is in shambles. That was Witt, Tess, and Booger McFarland's on some driving like a crane type structure. It just that was a garbage show. That was a McGurkus. That's the report. Romo has 1 year left on his deal with CBS. He's got 1 year left. If I'm CBS, I'm thinking extension. I don't want Romo talking with any other networks. You kidding me? If I'm CBS, Tony Romo is the key to my NFL thing. Tony Romo's that good, in my opinion, on the call. Anyway, so we'll do that. Gosh, 19 years ago today. Do you remember? Do you remember where you were? Do you remember what you were doing? I'll be honest, I do. I remember I was in Santa Barbara, California. I was living there. I was farting around in community college, looking at really pretty girls every day, playing a lot of video games, drinking, smoking, just, being a stupid 19, 20-year-old, whatever the hell it was. But I remember when they blew up the Kingdom. I remember watching it on ESPN. They televised it. Kenny Mayne was on the call because Kenny Mayne is a Seattle guy. Thomas Jefferson High School. And they had Kenny Mayne on the call, and they televised the blow-up, and I watched it. And it didn't hit me then. The Kingdom was all I knew. Many folks listening or watching this program, it was all you knew, too. I didn't know pro sports outdoor stadiums. I didn't know what that was like. My earliest memories of the Kingdom, Dave Craig, Steve Largent, Kurt Warner, Brian Bosworth, Fred Young, Kenny Easley, Dave Brown, those Seahawks teams, Chuck Knox, baby dolls, being barely too short to even see what was going on. But my parents and my family would take me to some of these Seahawks games, and I remember the PA guy, Kurt Warner. It just seemed like that's all they did. They just gave the ball to Kurt Warner every play. And I went to those games, and I loved it. And it got loud, man. Man, I wish the Kingdom was still around just for that. Because people talk about CenturyLink being the loudest stadium in the NFL, and it probably is. All due respect to Arrowhead and some others. But my gosh, man, I was there for some Kingdom moments in 2000, January of 2000. This was 2 months before they blew the damn thing up. I was at the final game in Kingdom history. It was a wild card loss to Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins. I was there. I got pictures of me being there. I didn't even wear a shirt, my skinny butt. I painted my chest. Yeah, it was really cool. I did not get any action that night, I'll promise you that. Or probably the next several weeks, too. But I was at that game. And there was a guy, maybe you remember him, maybe you don't. His name was Charlie Rogers. He was a kick returner. I think maybe he led to Buffalo after the Seahawks. Had a short NFL life. Charlie Rogers. But he had a kick return for a touchdown in that wild card game against the Miami Dolphins. Now remember, this is when the Seahawks were in the AFC. And I swear that was up there with the noise level of the Beastquake. And I was at both games. I was there for the Beastquake. I remember how loud, how it was an actual Richter scale number. It was an earthquake that the fans caused in the stadium. And damn it, that's why I love sports. You get 70,000 people jumping up together, hugging and kissing and celebrating. and you can start an earthquake. You can have a seismic charge. That's why I love sports. But that kick return in the Kingdome in that playoff game, they ended up losing. Dan Marino had a great fourth quarter comeback. Tip my cap to the legend that is Marino. But that kick return touchdown that Charlie Rodgers had there, I want to say in the third quarter, I'd never heard that Kingdome louder, ever. And I don't know if it might have been louder than the Beastquake. I swear to you, it was that loud. I wasn't there for Edgar's double, although I can imagine how loud it probably was for that too. I will be honest with you, I never saw an iconic Mariner moment in the Kingdome. I didn't. I never saw a no-hitter. I never saw a magical Griffey. I saw magical Griffey stuff, but never the big walk-offs, never a playoff win. I never saw any of that. But I guess it doesn't matter. I mean, it's all I had. It's all I knew. I mean, I don't fault the Kingdome for that. I remember walking through the tunnel in high school and seeing the beautiful AstroTurf, right? Old school AstroTurf. The stuff that was like less than an inch thick. And it was hard, man. And if you didn't have any type of elbow or knee pads, that stuff burned your skin up. I remember being in high school with my nerdy high school friends, sneaking booze into the game, into the Kingdome. You know, we bought those Camelbacks at the sports store that bikers wear. I remember filling a bag of that full of like rum or vodka, and I put it on my back. I put my shirt over it. Sure enough, me and my buddies, we walked to the Kingdome. Walked in the Kingdome. That was on like a Tuesday or Wednesday night. There's 11,000 fans there, so you could basically sit wherever you wanted. We're sitting there boozing it up, just being young, dumb kids, watching a Mariner team. And I had some fun times there. The only foul ball I've ever caught, or the only foul ball I've ever got, because I didn't catch it, I ran it down, was hit by Omar Vizquel. 1991, I want to say, 91. I was in a Mariner game. There's about 6,000 other of us there, you know, empty stinking Kingdome. Omar Vizquel hits a foul ball on the, was it the third baseline? That ball's bouncing in the stands. Little Johnny Ballgame, I'm running so hard for that ball. So it was like 5 or 6 other kids, but they weren't going to catch me, man. And I ran and I grabbed that ball. My dog ate it a few years later, but that's still the only ball that I've got from somebody hit in the game. It was Omar Vizquel. I've never forgot it. 19 years ago today, they blew it up. The Kingdome lasted, what, about 23 years? That's it. Really hard to believe that Safeco Field has already been around for almost as long as the Kingdome. This will be, what, the 21st year of Safeco Field this year? It's almost older than the Kingdome. Doesn't feel like that. This is really weird, but if I had an opportunity to go back in time, like if I had the flux capacitor and the DeLorean and I could just go to all these places, you bet your bottom flipping dollar that at some point I'm going to sit in that DeLorean and I'm going to type in the coordinates of some moment in the Kingdome, and I'm going back there and I'm hanging out with my buddies and I'm going to sit there and admire the Kingdome one last time. If we ever have a time machine, that's one of the venues I'm going back to. Bill and Ted are coming out with a new movie. Now, it's funny, it doesn't exist anymore. We can't go back to it. But if we could, no, I certainly would. The Kingdome, may you still rest in peace, my childhood. blew up 19 years ago today. Fill in the blank coming up next. But first, just want to encourage everybody to keep texting the program at 541-962-7700. Text me your fondest Kingdome memories. And remember, when it's time to get that next piece of furniture, I need you to go to Northwest Furniture and Mattress and see Sean Daggett, okay? Whether it's a mattress, love seat, recliner, major sofa, Northwest Furniture and Mattress, all types of colors, all types of fabrics, best sleep center you're going to find in Eastern Oregon as well. They're the whole stinking deal there, and they do a terrific job at Northwest Furniture and Mattress on Elm Street. They got the big red rocking chair sitting there right on the roof. You can't miss it. We'll be back with Fill in the Blank.
It's time now for your local weather forecast. In the Grand tonight, mainly cloudy skies with a few rain showers overnight, low of 34 degrees. For tomorrow, considerable cloudiness with occasional rain and a high near 50. In Baker City tonight, cloudy skies with occasional rain showers too, low of 36 degrees. And by tomorrow, cloudy and breezy conditions with light rain expected and a high near 50. This weather forecast is brought to you by LeGrand Gold and Silver, family owned and managed for over 35 years. Your trusted local experts for fine jewelry and precious metals. Shop LeGrand Gold and Silver's full line of quality jewelry, gifts, and coins, and find the perfect gift that will be cherished for a lifetime.
If you're in the business of making your business better, a good place to start is with the lighting. Better lighting can make your workforce happier and more productive. Better lighting makes your workplace safer. And the right lighting can make your product look like $1,000,000. But perhaps the best reason to upgrade is the money you'll save. Just visit energytrust.org/mybusiness. You can connect with contractors, find incentives, and discover ways to make your business more profitable by making it more energy efficient.
It's time now for a community calendar update. Every Friday morning from 9 a.m. until noon is the Free Children's Clinic in LeGrand. Appointments are requested. For more information, please call 541-663-3150. The Cook Memorial Library's Literacy Center is open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in LeGrand. From 1:30 to 5 p.m., devoted volunteers assist any individual that needs help in all areas of reading, writing, and speaking. There are opportunities to connect with reading partners, develop reading and language skills, and even help with homework for students. This is a perfect opportunity for all ages to receive free help in these literacy skills, or even for someone you care for. Stop by the Cook Memorial Library on 4th Street in LeGrand for more information, or call 541-962-1339. This community calendar update is brought to you by Claudson Sew & Soak, Viking and Pfaff machines for beginner to expert, plus financing for any budget. Tired of that old machine? Upgrading is easy. Get started today and sew something good at Claudson's in LeGrand.
Welcome back. Johnny Ballgame Show, Bench Warmers Pub and Grill. Had a fun day today. Krysten Peak with Yahoo Sports. John Blanchette with the Spokesman review. Getting you set for your Sweet 16 and Elite 8 action. Not sure if you realize this. Maybe you fell asleep on it. I get it. There's a lot going on. But the real life MLB opening day, not that Circus McGurkus thing at 3 in the morning in Tokyo last week. No, real life opening day is less than 48 hours away. That's Thursday. You wake up with like 10 a.m. baseball Pacific time zone geeks. Opening day, I will be at T-Mobile Park. Again, I'm not going to mess that up. I got a swear jar here in the station. Every time I say Safeco Field this year, I'm putting a buck in. And at the end of the year, I'm going to take all that money. I'm going to donate it to Shelter for the Storm, for single mothers out there. We're going to hook it up. But I'm sorry, I don't plan on putting a lot of dollars in there. T-Mobile Park, T-Mobile Park, T-Mobile Park. I'm telling you. I will be there in less than 48 hours watching the Mariners versus the Red Sox on the real opening day. I can't stinking wait. Let's hit up the Farmers Insurance Hotline, bring in my homeboy Shay DeWitt on the program. Shay hails from the Tri-Cities area, and we bring him in on Tuesdays to play a little fill in the blank with us. Shay, big Northwest sports guy, welcome to the program. And hey, the one decent thing about our Mariners in Tokyo last week, Shay, is we start the season with everybody else on Thursday. Shay, we're 2-0, my friend. 2-0, dude.
2-0. I mean, we're on pace for 162-0. You can't beat that, right?
Best baseball's undisputed best record, Shay. I mean, here we go.
It is.
It's
not going to last past this weekend, I bet.
And the stinking A's are 0-2. Worst record in baseball. Screw off, Oakland.
Right.
You know, gosh. Shay, how you been, man? Good stuff. You enjoying March Madness? Some good stuff over the weekend.
Yeah, doing good. I'm doing pretty well in my brackets right now. I'm first in a couple of them, third in another one, and fourth in a fourth one. So I'm doing all right so far.
Attaboy, nice job. Let's get this thing going. Brought to you by Kurt's RV Service and Repair every Tuesday. It's called Fill in the Blank. Let's have some fun.
All right, go.
All right, Shay, first I'm going to start you out with, we're still talking about this. It was the second highest rated game for television ratings in that time slot in the history of the tournament. I mean, Duke was going to lose. I'm standing up in my living room, Shay. I mean, rooting for UCF as hard as I ever could have imagined. Let me start you up there, Shay. When you think back just a couple days ago on that Duke UCF Classic, blank is the first thing that comes to your mind.
Oh, the first thing that comes to mind is that poor kid, Aubrey Dawkins. Man, that ball just rolled across that basket on that tip-in. I thought he had it for sure. But you got to give it to Duke. I mean, they're down 3 with 20 seconds left, and Zion drives and draws the foul and makes the bucket. And I don't think Barrett gets that rebound on the missed free throw if he doesn't foul out Taco.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Taco fouled out on that. You're right. Good point.
He fouled out, and that's their big man. He's down low for the rebound, and Barrett just came in and put it back. And, I mean, that was a big play of the game, I think. But, I mean, first thing I'll think of is poor Aubrey Dawkins. I mean, that ball just rolled across the basket.
As well as he played, too, Shay. I mean,
yeah, you think he had 32 points, didn't he?
I mean, that was a game that involved Zion Williamson, who had a great game. And you could argue that Aubrey Dawkins was the best player on the floor that day. And that's a game that included Zion. I mean, I love the fact, I will say this about Zion. He didn't just stand there in a corner and let, Barrett or Jones take the thing over. He's like, no, this is my team. I'm the important player. Like, seriously, I'm the one with all the hype. Everybody talks about me, whatever. So in these crunch time situations, give me the ball and get out of the way. I liked how Zion took command of that moment. Didn't you?
Oh, I liked it. One thing I liked about it, he's a big man. Drive. Draw the foul. Don't settle for jump shot.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that was...
And he came down. When it came down, he made the bucket.
Yeah, I was impressed. I was impressed there with Zion late there. Okay, let's keep this thing going. How about this, Shay? Blank would be a good hire for the next head men's basketball coach for your Washington State Cougars. Who do you want, Shay?
Well, who I want, who we're going to get is different. I want Patino. Let us be his stepping ground. But looking into it, right now they're talking about Benny Seltzer, who is our assistant coach under Ernie Kent, which I'm not real big on. But another name that's out there right now is Pat Kelsey, and he's the head coach at Winthrop. And and he's Winthrop's. They're in the Big South, not a big powerhouse, but he's the winningest coach in Big South history. And he's a defensive-minded coach, and try something, because I don't think you're going to get any big flashy names coming to Pullman, unfortunately.
It's tough, man, right? I was maybe thinking John Shire off Coach K's bench, the ex-Dookie.
I know we talked about that before, and I just honestly don't think we can get an assistant coach from the ACC to come to Pullman. I love that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, the Winthrop guys are good. I mean, they hit a ton of threes at Winthrop, so it'll be a fun brand of ball for the Zoo crew. They'll have fun doing it, and they can beat D up. I mean, this is a pivotal hire for the Washington State Cougars.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, you hit a home run with Mike Leach, obviously. That ball hasn't even landed yet. You're in the top 10 now in football, like at Wazoo, in Pullman. I mean, I hope they can get that basketball program going again. I really do.
That's the time to do it if you're going to do it.
No question. Kind of the same thing. Fill in the blank, Kurt's RV Service and Repair. Blank would be a good hire for the next UCLA basketball coach. They're also hiring, Shay.
Yeah, the thing with UCLA, that's a little different because UCLA does need a little flash, something sexy, a name, a big name. You know, it's UCLA basketball, and they need to go back to their old days. Name that's out there is Luke Walton.
Okay.
If Luke Walton gets fired by the Lakers, I mean, that's a big name you can get right there in L.A.
Yep, I agree.
You know, Pitino, that name's dropping for all the big hires, and what I read earlier, they're saying that he's not even an option. I also heard Bobby Hurley from Arizona State.
Okay, that would be interesting. Yeah, get Hurley to come on over. I mean, it's UCLA, dude. I mean,
right?
I would think you want a name there. I know Earl Watson has been mentioned a little bit too.
Yeah.
I don't know how sexy Earl Watson would be. He is an alum. We'll see, but they got to get that thing going in Westwood. I talk about that all the time on my show. I mean, if the Pac-12 is going to get back to be a big-time basketball conference, Shay, we need UCLA. We need them in basketball like we need USC in football, bro.
I agree.
All right, let's move on, Shay. How about this? One NFL rule change you would support would be blank. What do you want?
Well, the instant replay, and then I just read that it was approved about, half hour ago, that they, for both offense and defense of pass interference, it can be challenged by the coaches. And up to under 2 minutes, and they'll go like any other rule. It goes to the booth for review.
Oh,
but
my
after
gosh.
the Saints game last year, you know, I think you know, the way to do it is not every pass interference, use the challenge flag. You know, limit them to how many times they can do it. And I think that's a big shot because pass interference at the end of games can make or break a game.
I love this, Shay. I'm just reading this too. This is music to my ears, man. I wanted this. It works in the Canadian League. Now, here's the only thing my question is. This doesn't fix last year's NFC Championship malfunction. A flag has to be thrown. I think it's a start. But for my listeners, don't think that this is the Sean Payton rule. If that were to happen again and a flag was not thrown, you can't challenge it. Here's what I will say, though, Shay. The fact that you can now challenge this stuff, I think it means, and I hate to say this, but I think it means we'll see a few more PI calls because I think officials will err on the side of caution and they'll just throw the flag knowing that the coach can go back and challenge it. But I'm tired of seeing bullcrap pass interference calls. It seems like there's 2 or 3 of them a game. I think my Seahawks have lost probably 2 or 3 games in the last 2 or 3 years on stupid bullcrap pass interference calls. Every team has. So I do like this. Pass interference, this is a 1-year deal, by the way. It's a 1-year probationary try thing that they're doing.
Okay, I didn't see that.
But then it's fine. Hopefully it works well for the 1 year and they keep it going, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a step in the right direction, at least.
Shay, Conor McGregor's retirement means blank to you.
Retired means nothing. He's retired before, and I don't think with the way he signed a 6-fight deal with the UFC, and the UFC was desperate at the time because their headliners are old, you know. And the fact that he was destroyed by Khabib, I can't even say his last name.
Yeah, it was. Just say Khabib.
He was destroyed for 4 rounds.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, is that how he wants to go out? I mean, he's got a big ego. So I just don't see him ending on that poor showing. You know, I mean, it's not like he needs the money. I mean, he got $100 million pretty much for the Mayweather fight. Plus, he's got his Irish whiskey brand going.
I hear that.
He's got plenty of money. So
yeah, I hear that's selling really. I hear that. I read that's selling really well too. That Irish whiskey he's got.
Yeah.
I hear it's really popular.
Like I said, the UFC as of late, and boxing is making a comeback, and the UFC is starting to go downhill. They just can't get any big names right now that are selling huge. So I think the UFC will entice him back with a big deal to get him to fight within the next couple of years.
All right, Shay, I'm giving you $100 to spend, okay? And you can either I'm going to double your money up. You can either take Duke or you can take the other 15 teams left, known as the field. Duke or the field, you take blank.
I take the field. In my bracket, I have Gonzaga winning it all anyway. But I mean, you got to still look who you got left. You got Gonzaga, like I said, Michigan State still out there, UNC still out there. Texas Tech's legit.
Everybody's out there.
I mean, I believe Duke will cruise through with the Tech they play next.
Yep.
I think they'll cruise through them, but then when they get to LSU or Michigan State, that's going to be a legit game, I believe.
They struggled against UCF, period.
They did, but the thing that I think that they learned from that is big players make big plays when it mattered. And you can learn from close games like that. And like you said, Dawkins balled, So, I mean, if you get up another player that can just match up with Zion, scoring-wise or whatever, then we can see a game. But as of right now, Duke's beatable. Gonzaga did it earlier. UNC beat them twice, but it was without Zion. So, but we'll see. But I would take the field. I got to take the percentage on that one.
I would too. I'm going to take the percentage all day. All day. Fill in the blank with Shay, Kurt's RV Service and Repair. It's never too early to talk fantasy football. Shay, if you're in a super geeky fantasy league that had a draft tonight and you got the first pick, who are you drafting number 1 overall in a fantasy league right now? Fantasy football.
The thing on that is, you first thing that pops in your head is Gurley.
Okay.
But then you go back as, well, how hurt is Gurley really? Is he going to drag on his injury? But, I mean, you got Saquon Barkley and then Mahomes out there. I know taking a quarterback with the first pick, but, I mean, if Mahomes puts up the numbers he did last year, I would have no problem taking him right off the bat.
Sure. That's the question is, does he have that year again? Marino didn't follow his up. Manning didn't follow his up. It'll be interesting if he's able to do that. I wouldn't put it past the kid. It's just odd. Yeah.
He sounds like he's not going to have Tyreek Hill.
That's the situation too. Yep.
But don't look past Saquon Barkley. He had a big rookie year, and I think he's just going to grow on it.
Huge rookie year. It'd be tough to stay away from Saquon. Yeah, he had basically 2,000 all-purpose yards and 14 touchdowns. He caught, if you're in a PPR league, I think he caught over 70 balls. I mean, monster fantasy year. Monster fantasy year. Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, don't forget about him. I mean, we are loaded. We are back to the running back era in fantasy football, and I love it, dude. There's 4, 5, 6.
I do too. It's just funny. There's just so many running backs now, and they still can't get paid. It's just a dime a dozen. But there's so many good ones out there. There's so many good ones.
So many good ones. I'll leave you with this, Shay. Blank would be the best fit within reason for Zion Williamson in the NBA lottery. Where do you think, again, within reason, whoever wins this lottery in a couple months and gets Zion, give me a good fit for an NBA team?
Odds are, everybody knows the Knicks or Phoenix will get it. Phoenix, they're horrible. They got Booker, Josh Jackson, and Oubre Jr. I mean, he'd be a good fit, I think, with Phoenix. But one that I think would be pretty cool if they got it would be the Mavericks. You put Zion with Porzingis and Luka Doncic. I mean, I think that would be a pretty good fit with those two.
No question. Dallas would be awesome.
Dallas would be awesome. Or watch somehow LeBron and the Lakers pull off a number 1 pick.
I know, right? I have to look this up again, though, but I'm pretty sure Dallas doesn't have a pick. Didn't they trade it to Atlanta in the Trae Young Doncic deal?
Unless
Unless it's
I'm
protected.
I'm not exactly sure of that, but I think you're right, though.
It might be protected, though. Like, if they get number 1, it might not go to Atlanta. Usually those things are protected, so you're right. Dallas could have a chance. I think in Chicago, with the statue out front of the United Center, it's about time that the Bulls become relevant again. Levine scoring very well. They have that Markkanen kid from Arizona can really play. They brought in Zion to Chicago. They could get the Bulls going again, and we will start seeing people wear Chicago Bulls jerseys and Bulls hats and Bulls coats. I mean, you grew up in my era when you couldn't go to you couldn't walk 20 feet at your middle school, Shay, in Kennewick, Washington, without seeing some nerd wearing some type of Bulls gear.
I want to be like Mike. That's all you got to say.
Exactly. It'd be nice maybe for the Bulls to get a gift like Zion. I don't want New York to get bailed out. I don't want the Knicks to get him.
Either.
Yeah.
I think the Knicks, like we talked last week, the Knicks are the worst organization in sports.
Yeah.
There's even with drafting Zion, they're not going to build anything around him, I believe. That owner just needs to go.
Appreciate you, Shay. Great stuff today. Fill in the blank, Kurt's RV Service and Repair.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs. See you next week, my friend.
All right.
Appreciate Shay there every week. Fill in the blank with Shay. We're going to talk Ace Hardware finale when we come back. Yes, a landmark decision in the NFL. Pass interference. This is the ball game rule. I've been saying this for years, and it's finally here. Pass interference is now reviewable. I stinking love it. We'll be back.
Hello, Johnny.
Baby doll, just give me a second here. You were right. Not taking your car to Island City Speed Loop was a mega mistake. It's a mistake I've learned from, baby doll. Please.
Well, I would hope so. When it comes to maintenance for your dollar, there's no comparison to Island City Speed Loop.
I miss you. The cats, Mookie and Ray Ray, miss you.
Johnny, I can't. You taking my car to that third-rate chop shop was a deal breaker. Bye-bye, Ballgame.
Preserve your relationships with responsible vehicle maintenance at Island City Speed Loop.
NBA basketball is kicked into high gear right now, and Super Talk Radio is your continued home for Portland Trailblazers basketball. Don't miss Dame Dalla drop another 40 points on another opponent, or the silky smooth game of CJ McCollum, all on Super Talk Radio. That's 1450 AM in LeGrand and 1490 in Baker City. Trailblazers basketball on Super Talk Radio is brought to you in part by Kurt's RV Service and Repair, Rockin' Sons Tire and Auto, and Cricket Wireless. All right, welcome back. Johnny Ballgame Show, Bench Warmers Pub and Grill. Let's get right to our Ace Hardware finale. And let me remind you that Ace is the helpful place with 2 locations. LeGrand, Oregon. Craig does a terrific job there with Ace Hardware here in LeGrand. And Thatcher's Ace Hardware in Baker City. Still going strong. Ace is the helpful place. Our Ace Hardware finale. I was wrong in that last segment. Won't be the first, won't be the last. But I believe that with this new pass interference is reviewable deal, coaches will be able to challenge non-calls for pass interference. Think about this. So if there's a play that looks like clear and present PI and the flag isn't thrown, well, you know what? The coach can throw his flag and say, go take another look at this. We think it's PI. Call it. Now, remember, I know if you're thinking, oh, my God, the games are going to take so much longer now. They're not getting more challenge flags. They're just getting more stuff that they can challenge. So it's not going to take more time, not hardly at all, if any. Because they're not getting an extra flag. This isn't a separate type of it's just it's a different thing you can challenge. You don't get another flag to come with it. Again, I love this. I love it. NFL owners today have approved a massive, this according to Kevin Seifert of NFL Nation, NFL owners have approved a massive philosophical expansion of its replay system, bowing to pressure from coaches and fans who are outraged by the missed pass interference call in the NFC Championship game. For 1 year, they will try this. 1 year, PI, both offense and defense, will be reviewable. I'm going to open with this tomorrow on the Johnny Ballgame Show. It's crazy. I got so much. I could keep this mic on and go 2 more hours. Take calls, get your takes on this. Unfortunately, we got the Savage Nation. I can't do it. They won't let me. They'll fire me. That's your Ace Hardware finale. I can't wait to get behind the mic tomorrow. I love you, chuckleheads. That's all I got.
Eastern Oregon's home for news, talk, weather, and sports. This is KLBM LeGrand and KBKR Baker City. Super Talk Radio, the talk of Eastern Oregon.
Healthcare fight, no veto override. I'm Ann Cates. The battle over healthcare has resumed.